Hey there, Knicks fans. It's playoff time, and that means we're gearing up with the freshest hats and swag from Fanatics. We're buying our merch, like this hat I'm wearing right now, with Fan Cash, since we bet with Fanatics Sportsbook, where you earn Fan Cash on your bets. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app and start earning Fan Cash today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut residents, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents, call 800-327-5050. New York residents, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Oh, holy fucking shit. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. Man, if ever, I was happy to have an Emmy winner with me because I can't put two sentences together consecutively right now. Jeff J is in the building. I just want to say thank the good Lord for everything. Not getting into any specifics. Just thank you. I wanted that one so bad. If you are a Knicks fan who has been through this season, which I know had 51 wins, and anybody who hears Knicks fans talk about this year like they are a 31-win team or a 21-win team, people would be like, oh my God, how quick did it take you to get too big for your britches? You got it. If you're a Knicks fan, you get it. You get it how you feel right now. You just get it. You're feeling it. And it's going through you. I'm going to try to compose myself to start to put some cogent thoughts together. But before I do, I am going to turn it over to my man, Jeff.
I'll give you some time to get your thoughts together, Macri.
Please.
Because it's promo time. I've had to hear about this man on my shirt, Captain Clutch, being a foul grifter, a snake oil salesman for ethical hoops, a flopper, and not a real hooper from a lot of pundits, both local and national, over the past week. What do you have to say now? That looked like the most logical, rational, pragmatic type buckets that we've come to know from Jalen Brunson throughout the start of the season. I didn't know if they were playing the Detroit Pistons or the Detroit Lions. You want to talk about physicality? Maybe they need to put Schroeder on the end. Let him play DE or cornerback, probably linebacker, because he's a little too svelte to be in the trenches. You can hold, you can grab, you can claw, you can scratch, but the whistle ain't going the same way on the other end. The Knicks had to overcome the end of half of doom, the third quarter of doom, inconsistent calls, and oh yeah, Schroeder rolling up Jalen Brunson in the third quarter towards the end when we didn't know whether or not he was going to return. All he had to do was go back into the locker room, adjust his cape, tailor it this time because, you know, it's bespoke. These are bespoke capes. He gets a different cape, a different size, a different style for a different type of game. Came back in the fourth quarter and showed you why the clutch player of the year isn't a gimmick. It's a fact of life. You wanted to let him play? I loved it. I loved it. I especially loved it on the final shot. Because if we're going to let him play, we're going to let him play all the way. Gas up the bus, get out of town, hop on the private jet, and let's go back to Madison Square Garden up 3-1 because some teams earn it and it's not given. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. The Knicks have been the better fourth quarter team this entire round of the playoffs, save probably one. Better fourth quarter team. I've had to hear about the 7 out of 8 quarters thing. Facts. They also know how to close the game. And they shut the door on the Pistons once and for all. You can be fake tough or you could be real tough. What's really tough is being up 3-1 with a chance to close it. That's real toughness to me. What's up, Macri?
8:35 to go in this game. The score was 79-68. Jeff, I know you're a longtime fan. I'm a longtime fan. We've been through it. We've seen the bad, but we've also seen the good. We've seen miracles. We have seen miracles from Knicks teams before. And yet, at that moment, with how the game had gone over the preceding 18 minutes, because it started when the game turned, when Jalen Brunson, one of the few shots he missed today, missed a shot at the rim on a fast break, went down the other end. It was a 3-point play. Should have been an 18-point lead. Ended up the advantage going down to 13 points. For the following 18 minutes after that switch was flipped for Detroit, the Knicks looked like they were out of their league. The Knicks looked like they would be the team that was going to be tied 2-2 after 4 games of this series. And everybody with Detroit and all the Pistons fans and all the Pistons media and goodness knows the Pistons coach were going to be talking and saying through their smiling, shit-eating grins, we're the physical team. We're the tough guys. They can't handle us. Because you know what? In fairness, for 18 minutes, the Knicks didn't know what to do with it. Yep. And so when Jalen Brunson checked back in the game a little while before 79-68, when it was 74-64, even then when he came back in, somehow, against all odds, you said because of how that game was going, even Jalen Brunson would not be able to turn this thing around because the momentum was so one-sided at that point. How were they going to flip it? How were they going to flip the script? And over the close of the fourth quarter, I'm going to, again, go back to the 8 minutes and 35 seconds mark when it was 79-68. From that moment on, the Knicks scored 26 points and the Detroit Pistons scored 14 in their home building with that crowd going absolutely apeshit. Over that time, Jalen Brunson had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 field goals that he committed. And again, not that there was any doubt about who should have been the Clutch Player of the Year. You got him on your T-shirt, Captain Clutch. That's his name. He has now earned it for a lifetime. But in case anybody needed to see it again because they hadn't seen it enough, what that man did, if he did that and he was at full health, that would have been up there with among the greatest fourth quarter performances in the history of this franchise. That he did it when he could not support his weight on his own 2 feet, on his own 2 legs. It defies explanation, to say nothing of defying gravity. We are so lucky to be able to watch this player. And I know they did not win this game only because of Jalen Brunson. We're going to talk about some of the other folks, but just like we have to give him his due because I said it 2 years ago or over 2 years ago. I said it 2.5 years ago when it first started to really sink in. We've been waiting our entire lives for one of those guys. Mm-hmm. Those guys. And it's not fair to Melo that he doesn't get that designation because he had the game, but Melo's not a point guard. And he unfortunately was never gifted with the leader that he needed alongside of him.
Or the players.
And
we'll get to that, but all the players. But I get what you're saying.
You know, and I don't want to disparage anyone, but Jalen Brunson, when it started to go right about a third of the way through that first year, you said, oh, okay, we have something here. We finally have something here. And that was the logical endpoint of this journey that has now been 3 years in the making. I know they're not done yet. They haven't even won this series yet. But, how do you not stop and appreciate it? Am I right?
Yeah, man. There's a saying when players go off or in any sport when someone has a phenomenal performance. Appreciate greatness. Appreciate greatness. In a series where there was legit conversation about who was the best player in the series, what does Brunson do? Become the first player ever in the history since James Naismith hung a peach basket up and said, what if I throw this ball of leather at it and it goes in? I might have something here. Since then, to score 30 points and record 7 assists in the first 4 playoff games, or 4 straight playoff games. I think it's in the first 4 playoff games in a series. First guy to ever do it. Not Kareem, not Wilt, not Mike, not Bron, not Steph, not KD, not Barkley, not Shaq, not Kobe, not KG, not Bird.
We keep going on.
On and on and on. Your favorite players, some of the greatest players, your GOAT, unless it's Jalen Brunson, has never done that before. And you know what's got to be eating at the Pistons right now, Macri?
There's only one thing.
Not
keep
enough.
going.
It's not enough. K dropped a triple-double, but it's not enough. Beasley started hitting 3-pointers, but it's not enough. Hardaway like 40 points in 2 games. But it's not enough. No matter what you do, the Knicks have the talent advantage. And now, we spoke about this on Playback, Macri, to me. We spoke about this on Playback, Macri. They can't go back. They can't regress. You've shown us this grit. Josh Hart spoke in the press about how he's upset that they're comparing eras and comparing last year's team to this year's team and thinks it's asinine. Although I do think there is fair critique to be made, but you have to live with the team that you have and appreciate the team that you have. I appreciate that y'all are restoring the New York grit feeling because it takes a lot. I could blame y'all, but I couldn't blame y'all if you would have folded after Brunson got hurt, if he didn't come back, if you let go of the rope, because we've seen it this season. But you showed this means something to you, and you showed it on the court.
I was like, we were getting down to like the final minute or two, and I forget what play or what moment it was, but there was a moment where maybe it was a made shot, maybe it was one of the few defensive stops they did get late, but they got just enough. Where I said they've done enough today, win or lose, where I am going to be able to go on that post game, and I'm going to say no one should be hanging their head today.
Yeah,
no one should be ashamed to be a Knicks fan. Despite, again, what was a solid 18 or so minutes where you were just kind of getting punked. And we could talk about what happened in those 18 minutes. I do want to talk about what happened in those 18 minutes and how concerned we should or should not be. They redeemed themselves. And they redeemed themselves in a way that did not just put the spotlight on the best player, but it showed that you got a few guys on this team that when the chips are down, they are going to be there for you come hell or high water. I think we got to start with Cat after JB, right? So here's the thing about Cat. And we've said it all year. Content creators in Minnesota said it for 8 years or 9 years, however long he was with their team. You get the full spectrum. There is no simplification with Cat. He is the most tantalizing player in the sport, and implicit in that statement is the fact that with the good, yes, you will get the bad. And through 3+ quarters of this game, it wasn't the sort of performance where like Cat was playing you out of the game, but he was kind of playing into Detroit's hands. He was not doing anything. He was not taking advantage of the advantages that he was being given. And if the game had gone that way, he wouldn't have been the only one to get the blame, but he would have gotten a lion's share of it. And look, was it as simple as him making 2 of the most insane shots that we have ever seen in the history of fourth quarter playoff game in this franchise? No, I don't think it was. I think he did a little bit more than that. And like through 4 games, like he's mostly held up on defense. And there was another 3 in there, by the way. It wasn't just the 3 at the end. There was another 3 in there too.
The wing
2
threes
that bookended the fadeaway. Just the crazy. Oh, and one other thing I have to throw in there before I turn it to you on Cat. Super smart foul by him with 11 seconds to go that he knew they had the foul to give. He did it before that anyone got a chance to get a shot attempt. And he knew by doing it, as my dog is coming here to celebrate.
This person is the star of the show.
Yes, Maddie is the star of the show. Okay. And in doing it, allowed Thibodeau to make the substitutions to get the defense first lineup in the game.
You talk about the whole Cat experience. We got the entire Cat experience quarter by quarter. This is, if someone asked you, what is the thesis statement behind Karl Anthony Towns as a player, show them this whole game. Quarter by quarter by quarter. We got the first quarter, good Cat. Second quarter,
not so good.
Right. All right, still good, but like, all right. Third quarter, Cat, what's going on? Fourth quarter, you are the greatest big man in the history of the game. And I am so upset that I did not recognize this when you were in Minnesota. You purified yourselves in the lake before you came over to the Knicks, and now you've hit another level. John, we finally got one of those guys that hits the FU threes that you cannot fathom. When I've said before that looking at this Detroit team and Detroit as a city is like looking at alternate time version of where the Knicks were. Oh, yeah. That was us against the Hawks in 2021, watching those shots go down and wondering, why don't we have somebody who can knock down shots like that? That's been a majority of my life as a Knicks fan, where they have a star that can hit some ridiculous shots, and it happens for the Knicks every once in a while. And Cat, he maximized his own skills by finally staying behind the three-point line when they needed to, not creeping in, and taking those shots. And there has something to be said about the audacity to put that shot up in that scenario. The audacity surprises me more than him cashing those threes.
But it had to go down too. That's what made it. It was like, but the one thing I'll say, it's not like he had a choice. That was the end of the damn clock. Like that was it. It was that or nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I blacked out when he hit that three. I was in another world because I could not believe. I believe he can hit that shot. I just didn't believe that shot went down in that moment. And I can tell you from watching Clippers Nuggets yesterday, when Aaron Gordon gets the first ever game-winning buzzer beater dunk in postseason history, I'm saying to myself, that would be a sick way. A sick way to lose. And I'm so happy I am not a Clippers fan or a fan to experience that. What do we get in the final play? Disruption, can't grab the board, Deuce crawling for it like a man crossing the desert looking for an oasis. Goes into Nick. Once a Nick, always a Nick, Tim Hardaway Jr. to get the YOLO three. And then my TV glitched for a second, like real quick, when he held it to when he put it up. So all I saw was it release his hand and miss, and he airballed. So I guess Josh must have did a great contest there. But I can tell you, Cat, for whatever you want to say about Cat going forward, to me, you got to keep it real and give that man his respect. He's played well 3 out of the 4 games in this series. 75% of this series, you've got good to excellent Cat. And if he keeps doing this, I don't think any Knicks fan will have an issue with him.
No, absolutely not. And I think we have, I'm being told in the chat, we have a video. This is, oh goodness. This is me before the Cat 3.
One time.
I was standing too. I love it. Yep.
Let's go.
Same.
Come on.
All of that.
That's my daughter, by the way, screaming, "Be quiet!" from the other room.
My daughter was screaming at the TV.
Thanks to my lovely wife.
She was looking at me like, "Why is Daddy running into the closet screaming?"
Yeah, I think my family wants to put me in the closet with how I react during some of these games. Okay, we got a bunch to get to. Let's start moving through this a little bit quicker.
Yes, sir.
I got to go with Josh Hart next. This was from the outset, from the opening tip. This was, to me, a Josh Hart game to a T. Going out there, hitting 2 threes in the first quarter, going out there with shooting it with confidence. You never know when it's going to flip for Josh. It flipped today. Going out there, getting 2 offensive rebounds on the same possession to end the first quarter, help end the first quarter with a made bucket. He managed to, for the first time all series, really make the Pistons pay. Ended up going 3 of 5 from deep, had another big 3 later in the game, finished with 10 rebounds, 14 points, 4 big steals in this game. And I mentioned those 2 offensive rebounds. And in what was the biggest defensive play of the game, you know how, Jeff, all season long, I've complained about it and others have complained about it. Josh Hart, why are you helping off shooters so much? Why are you helping off shooters for these digs into the lane that are not going to produce anything? And finally, in the biggest moment, him digging off that corner shooter, and yes, it mattered that it was Tobias Harris, so maybe imbued him with a little bit more confidence to dig off of that corner shooter, ends up getting the biggest defensive play of the game. I thought this was a beautiful basketball game by Josh Hart.
Yeah, if he plays this way, there's no real concern about spacing or the offense because he finally made them pay. This was game 6, Sixers Josh that showed up in Philadelphia. The guy that's going to make you pay and hit the 3-pointers, the guy that's going to be all around the court, and the guy that legitimizes the trust Tibbs puts in him to have him on the court in those situations. That's just what it is. Like Josh, and we'll get to betting and sweating, but I didn't even have this on mine. I went Josh triple-double. The fact that he went 5 assists short, you wouldn't know. If you just watched his game, you would have thought he hit it. That's how ubiquitous he was across the court. Like, I got nothing but praise for Josh Hart. And this is a dude that puts his money where his mouth is. When he talks a good game in the press and on the pod and everywhere, and he's the one guy I never have to worry about backing it up. So salute to him.
Speaking about guys who backed it up, a transition to the next guy because Josh Hart also had a massive play. Again, like, yeah, you got to make the plays to close it, but you got to get over the mountaintop because it seems like this game, an 11-point lead seemed like a mountain. When it was 79-73, Jalen Brunson finally had a miss, and Jalen Duren, who was a monster on the boards all game long, got the defensive rebound, and Josh Hart did not give up on the play, managed to swat the ball off of Jalen Duren's leg to give the Knicks another possession. That was absolutely massive. But they needed to capitalize on it. They needed to close the gap a little bit more. And who was there after he had one of the nightmare games? But Mikal Bridges with his second 3 of the fourth quarter. His first 3 was the previous one, made it 79-71. This one made it 79-76. Those 2 threes may get forgotten about. And you're going to look at his stat line. You're going to see Mikal Bridges. The dude went 3 of 12 from the field in this game for 8 points. I'm just going to go say it. Mikal Bridges in 44 minutes, I really did think you have to say he played a good basketball game. Because yes, I know he was 3 of 12, but some makes are more valuable than others. You want to tell me if you made a few more in the first half, it wouldn't have been that close to begin with? Okay, I'll hear you. Those ones that he made late were big, and he was the best defensive player on the Knicks, I think by a not insignificant degree in this game. And that's not to throw shade at OG Anunoby, who I think defended well, but Mikal Bridges was the star on that end of the court all game long.
Yeah, that's why I can't have too much smoke for Mikal offensively, because him and OG, they just didn't have it from the court. And I know we'll probably get to it, John, but I'm not even going to give the I'm not a ref guy caveat. When the game is called a certain way, yes, it's on you to adjust the way you play. But they say that they reward aggressiveness. I saw that aggressiveness being rewarded on one side and not the other. And Bridges and Anunoby were the casualties of the inconsistent officiating on both sides of the court. But especially when it came to that third quarter where the refs went into 2K and turned off fouls and just said, we are about to vibe out. We are at the park right now. But I couldn't have smoke for him because although Cade went 25, 10, and 10, that was a hard-fought 25, 10, and 10. And Mikal was one of the reasons why. And to your point, he has the propensity for clutch baskets. He may not be the clutch player of the year, but I've seen him do it more than once. I know that he has the ability. Would I have loved him to hit one of those game breaker threes in the first to extend the lead? Yes, I would have loved it. But if you're going to give me threes that matter, I'd rather you give me those threes that you gave in the fourth than you did in the first quarter, because this is winning time. And he showed up in winning time as a two-way player. So I will make sure, Mikal, that your name is remembered in the annals of Knicks history for what you did in the fourth quarter, because I think you and OG had a thankless job and you approached it with like professionals and you got the job done.
I think you hit on the most interesting point by far of that stretch of the game where the Knicks were, if you want to boil it down to like one word, getting out physical, where the refs were swallowing their whistle and the Knicks weren't able to take advantage. I personally do not view that stretch, and I think you could look at OG and Mikal and Cat on the offensive end as the quote unquote culprits during that stretch. Mm-hmm. I don't view that as a toughness or a physicality thing as much as I view it as a skill thing. Like OG is just, for as big as he is, has never been a guy who's just great at finishing through contact. He's just not. Right. Now, Mikal Bridges, does he avoid contact from time to time? Yeah, he does, especially when he gets close to the rim. Maybe that's a little bit tougher. And Cat's the guy who you're like, man, we know you got more in you when teams are playing you like this. And that's when I think he was just letting it get in his head a little bit. And as opposed to like letting the game slow down, taking his time, or being a little bit more patient. But they survived it. They got through it. I guess final thoughts before we get to betting and sweating, because I've kept you for a while here.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of like other big picture takeaways from this game, other than obviously everything we talked about and the crazy stretch of the fourth quarter. It really was 3 basketball games, because you had your closing stretch, you had that middle stretch where the Pistons made their big comeback, but you also had the first almost 2 quarters where the Knicks came out with the approach, with the intent, with the game plan, with everything you could possibly want to see from your basketball team on the road in a game 4 with a chance to go up 3-1, with 2 exceptions. They couldn't buy a freaking open 3, and they could not convert a fast break. And I think the fast break thing ties into the physicality thing. And that I don't want to say it's got in their heads, but I think it's definitely something that they have not responded to as well as they could have. So I'm going to remember this game as, again, that game where it's kind of 3 games in one. And then, look, is there stuff to clean up? Absolutely. You got out rebounded 54-38. You turned the Pistons over 19 times, but you were not able to take advantage of those turnovers as well as you needed to. Only 20 points off those 19 turnovers. But again, that has to do with the fast break stuff. What I am most encouraged by, I guess, is, and this is maybe an odd thing, but I'm going to go here anyway. All season long, this team has gotten more and more and more gun shy from deep when threes are not falling. And I think that, as much as anything, more for me personally than like the Josh Hart like cramping the spacing thing, I think the collective hesitancy from 3-point range when you start out a game and the threes aren't falling and when they don't feel it right from the first quarter, that has made their offense. It has made it so much more difficult to generate positive, efficient offense. And they went through that stretch where they could not buy a basket, but they kept at it. They kept taking the threes. Final tally, only 33 3-pointers attempted, which again is not a ton. It's not like Celtic numbers, but they ended up shooting 45.5% from 3 for the game. They started out hot and they finished hot because they didn't give up on that. That's where the most efficient offense was. Did it factor in a little bit that they were trying to come back and it made more sense to take threes there? Yeah, but you know what? There have been other times where it was made the most sense to take threes, and the Knicks haven't always gotten the memo. So the fact that they did get the memo and then obviously converted some of those threes in the fourth quarter, I thought said so much about this team.
For sure. I will say that you mentioned it before that this was 3 basketball games in one. I've said from last season, The Knicks are the greatest anime in the history of professional sports, and especially over the last few years. And you just saw a whole anime arc in 3 games. They came out looking like the team that was at one point second in offensive rating with the way they were moving the ball. And not even like the first quarter, they were 5 of 10 from 3, but afterwards they just couldn't buy that game-breaking 3 to distance themselves. Then in the second and the third, we had the plot twist where there were no more fouls being called. The physicality was put to 10. And for some reason, and I know Super Chats might say this, Macri, but this is something that I'm harping on for this game.
Sure.
I still don't think the Knicks have played a complete game. And I still think that they're winning in spite of themselves. Because for some reason in the third quarter, they decide not to do what works. If something worked in the first half, it's like they get a Xbox achievement or something that they want to unlock by running a different type of offense. And it's like, fam, they cannot stop the 1-5 pick and roll. No matter what Tobias Harris was able to do, he still got into foul trouble. They've literally had tried to beat this team up and they still can't win. I think you run the offense until JB Bickerstaff can figure out a solution that actually works. They've played Asar Thompson and Ridge Holland. Ron Holland. I'm thinking of Restless. Ridge Holland, Ron Holland, and Asar Thompson. They've played them off the floor. They can't play anymore. That's why Beasley and Timmy and Schroeder have to play now. I wouldn't be surprised if in game 5, Asar and Ron have the quickest hook because the Knicks have already solved those guys.
We should say Ron Holland 6 minutes in this game, Asar Thompson 22 minutes.
Right, for sure. But you saw there was a time when they were making that run where once Bridges hit that 3 when they were down 11, Schroeder subbed for Thompson. And I saw it when they were mixing and matching. We saw a lot of defensive quirks. Tibbs went with no centers for a little bit, which I was just like, oh, wow. Have you tapped into Knicks Twitter from 2004 and you're starting to pull stuff out?
Well, it shows you where his mindset is right now on Mitchell Robinson and obviously Precious Chichua as well.
Exactly, because Mitch gutted this one out. I could tell that he really didn't have it. The other thing I will say is we talked about it on playback. The dime package on defense. We got the dime package, John. When they went up 1, I literally tweeted out, will he pull out the dime package? He did it. Dukes and Mitch in. And what happened? They get the Cade turnover. 2 of 7 from the field, 3 turnovers in the 4th for Cade Cunningham. You got to salute the Knicks. You got to salute that effort. They've made the correct adjustments. And now I honestly think throughout these 4 games, we've seen versions of Detroit's best. Way more than we've seen versions of the Knicks' best. And it's still 3-1. That Deuce game is on the way. I don't know when. But the Deuce game is on the way. They're going to play a complete game. And if it happens in game 5, we're going to be chilling. So that's what I'm most excited to hear. And before you let me go, Mr. Macri, I want to show this. I got this game 2. This was the game that the Knicks lost. And usually I would toss these because I don't want to be reminded. There was a commemorative ticket that I saw other people get in. And I picked this thing up off the floor. I was like, oh, I'll take it. I need a rally towel. But I will remember this game for the game where the Knicks finally cut the shit and started playing like the New York Knicks. That was the game that they needed to lose to wake up and finally say, this young team is going to try to out-tough us, out-physical. They're buying into this bad boy Pistons propaganda. They're buying into all of that. So what are you going to do? It's like the Michael Irvin clip where he's like, nobody believes in you. What are you going to do? And the Knicks finally said, we're going to be who we are. But now I need them to be something better. Close them out in game 5. Sweep the leg. Put them in the dirt. The death knell is ringing right now. It's time to put this team in the dirt because you saw what happened when you gave up a game 5 last year and you put one more game of mileage on everybody in that game.
Yeah.
We've seen what's been happening in the NBA in the postseason with injuries. You do not want to play one more game than you need to. No. And the Celtics already are on pace for 5 games. You want to keep pace, if anything. So that is one of my biggest takeaways. Game 5, seal the deal, eliminate doubt, and rest up for the next round. That's Jeff, what they need right now.
You nailed it. They've been brought down into the mud in this series. And they have needed game by game to figure out how to get out of that mud. It hasn't always looked pretty because guess what? When you get pulled out of the mud, it's not going to look pretty.
Mhm.
And I think, by the way, that contributes to exactly why we feel like we have not seen the best version of this Knicks team for an entire 48 minutes. Because when you're in this sort of series, I just think it's going to be really hard to find that. Even if the Knicks were an even better team, I think it would be a challenge because give the Pistons credit for what they are doing. But listen, Jeff, you've been incredible. I'll let you go before we go any further because you've been here for a ton of time. Last thoughts from you before we get you out of here.
The Pistons are a solid team. I wish they weren't playing the Knicks because I would root for them in the playoffs. Like I'd root
Very
for them
fair.
or whoever else they're going after. This is a team that New York would root for. That's why I feel so bad that the Knicks are going to have to do what the Knicks have to do to them. You said it great. They dragged them into the mud.
Yep.
This whole series. Now it's time to put the Pistons in the dirt
I love
and
it.
emerge from the mud, clean yourself off, and get ready for the second round. You are incredible, Macri. Thank you so much for allowing me to join this post
Oh
game.
my goodness.
Shout out to Knicks Film School. Get the likes up, get the super chats up. This is a time. If there was any time to revel in your team, now is the time because you know what? They finally got something to go their way where this movie that we've watched for however long you've been a Knicks fan, it goes a totally different way. We're watched an alternate ending today. So enjoy it. Get ready for game 5, believe and enjoy the ride, man.
I love it. Check out Jeff on Casual Fridays. He's doing his thing every Friday with a different guest every week. I'm
Yes,
going to have
sir.
to get back on there at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point very soon.
Open invite.
Oh, no, dude. It's such a blast. It's a perfect way to end the week.
Thank you.
Jeff,
And
you're
you know the
man.
producer, so it should be easy to get on. You know what I'm saying?
I'll have my people call your people. You're the man, dude. Thank you.
Exactly, man. Thanks a lot, y'all. I'll hang up and listen. Oh, and one more thing before I go.
Yes.
If you have League Pass, you're gonna hear this voice on the top 10 tonight and on
Oh
Knicks
my God.
Pistons highlights on NBA.com. This is probably the first time all season that the Knicks have won when I'm scheduled to work. So I'm so happy because that was a personal curse that has been exercised. So definitely tap in because if there's any plays from the Knicks on the top 10, I usually go crazy. I will go insane. So I've taken up too much of your time. I'm going to get back to it. Love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.
Peace out, brother. Yes, we have exercised some demons today. And the last thing I'm going to say before we get to betting and sweating on something kind of finally going the next way at the end of the game and that last play with Josh Hart making the contact on Tim Hardaway Jr. Look, two things. Number one, after that nonsense, I know it didn't end up mattering, but after that nonsense on the free throw, awarding the Pistons a possession that they had absolutely no business having at the end of game 3, I don't want to hear anything about the fact that the Knicks were not called for a foul on the Tim Hardaway Jr. shot. That's number one. And number two, after how this series has been called in general, and in particular, how this game was called, in which I think the Pistons got a lot of the benefit of the doubt in how that game was called, although I know both sides are saying that they're getting the benefit, the other side's not getting the benefit, the whole thing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If you're the whole team and you're up 11 points in the fourth quarter, you know what? Go out, close the game. Don't rely on the refs to call a whistle on a desperation 3 with a couple seconds remaining on the clock. I don't want to hear it. I am not going to feel bad about this win in the slightest, and no Knicks fan should even think about doing so. Okay. On that note, let us get to our official picks and see how they did on Betting and Sweating, presented by our friends at Fanatic Sportsbook. We had a great time making our picks. Me and Sean went through them earlier today. The 3 official picks for Knicks Film School. Again, you can see it on the Fanatic Sportsbook app. We are having our picks here at the Knicks Film School team has our picks there live before every game. First pick, Andrew Claudio, Jalen Brunson over 30.5 points. I'm sure he was not feeling great about this one in the midst of this game, but then Jalen Brunson came back, put on his cape, finished with 32 points. That's a win at plus 105. Second pick, this one's going to be a little tough. Mensa went with Josh Hart, 6 or more assists at minus 125. Josh Hart, unfortunately, finished with 5 assists. Missed this one, but a good intent there for Mensa. And then last but not least, Jeff J's pick. He just exited the show. He went with Mikal Bridges to get at least 4 rebounds. Mikal did 2 better. He ended up with 6 rebounds. Jeff got that at plus 125. So I believe it's definitely for the 3rd game in a row, and it might be 4 out of 4 in this series so far, in which we've gotten 2 out of 3. So we are doing very well for ourselves. If you want to take advantage of that, well, for one, just go ahead and download the Fanatics Sportsbook app, where you can go ahead and not only make all kinds of bets in there, but see what our picks are before every game. And you could also get rewarded for doing something you might be doing anyway, because they got this whole fan cash situation in which you can exchange money on the app for fan cash. It is the most amazing invention I have ever seen. I got a couple of hats that are behind me. I had to put on the KFS hat for this one. I am waiting to rock the Mitchell and Ness Knicks shirt that I got with my fan cash for. I don't even want to say it out loud. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for a specific moment to rock that. My hope is that I will be rocking it very soon. Thanks again to Fanatics Sportsbook. Again, gambling problem. 1-800-GAMBLER is the number. Connecticut residents, 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents, 800-327-5050. New York residents, 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Thank you, Fanatics Sportsbook. There's your betting and sweating picks for the game. Oh, my goodness. Did that really just happen? Oh, this feels good. Feels good. We earned this one. In every sense of the word. We earned this one. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year. As tough a year as 51 wins could be. But it still has been tough. And it was good to finally have a moment like that. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Only one super chat from before the game ended. And this is from John Leary. Refs had no handle on this game. It led to the Brunson injury. Don't know why the offense just goes into the shitter. You know what? I give credit to Detroit. There are reasons why the Knicks offense went into the shitter that are absolutely on New York and their players and their coaching staff, and they got to own that. If they had lost this game at the end for whatever reason, if they had come up a bucket or two short, we wouldn't have been talking about the fourth quarter. We would have been talking about that stretch of the third quarter where the Knicks offense just completely evaporated. And it looked like they did not know how to find their way out of a paper bag. It is one of the flaws of this team. It is not a perfect basketball team. Where I'm going to give them credit, though, and like, I think offensively, they've in general solved a lot of problems in this series, and I think they've been pretty creative in solving those problems. Yeah, they've still had those stretches, which are frustrating. They've had them in every game, but I think they've done a very good job problem solving offensively in this series, to the point that for the first 22 minutes of this game, it looked like they were getting whatever they wanted in the half court, especially. And more impressively for me, on defense, they showed us what they could do. They showed us they're better than the team that we've seen all year. And I think you saw that multiple times in this game. Thank you, John. Next up. Hey, we have our Fanatics Sportsbook $100 fan cash super tweet. Here's $100 in fan cash. What are you doing with it? Are we ready to buy that cat jersey, or are you sticking with Captain Clutch? I talked about buying the cat jersey the other day. I talked about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I should. He continues to endear himself somehow. And he's had a great season. I know it has not been a perfect postseason for Cat, but I think Jeff nailed it. Jeff nailed it when he said 3 out of the 4 games, you got more good from bad than Karl-Anthony Towns. You got enough from Karl-Anthony Towns in 3 of the 4 games. And like, if that dude gives you like enough in 3 out of 4 games, you're probably going to be doing really well. And so with my $100 in fan cash, I will go ahead and I will get myself a Karl-Anthony Towns jersey. Go check out what you can get with your fan cash on Fanatics Sportsbook. Again, they are making it very easy to be a Knicks fan. I will tell you that. Thank you so much, Fanatics. Okay, we have the pool report from after the game. We'll get to this in a second. In an interview with pool reporter, who's this? Cody Davis. Hope I pronounced his name right. Referee David Guthrie acknowledged that Josh Hart fouled Tim Hardaway Jr. on the final play of Game 4. Question: what did you see on the last series, and why wasn't there a foul called? Guthrie: during live play, it was judged that Josh Hart made a legal defensive play. After post-game review, we observed that Hart made body contact that is more than marginal to Hardaway Jr., and a foul should have been called. Well, you know what? Sometimes shit does not go your way. Again, I am not going to feel bad about it because I guarantee you, if you look at all kinds of other plays throughout this game and you analyze them for whether something was marginal contact or more than marginal contact, you would get a whole lot of plays that would go both ways. Both ways. That would be more than marginal contact. That is how that game was being called. It's how the game was being called. The Detroit Pistons got the benefit of chicanery the other night. The Knicks get the benefit of a call that was missed tonight. Not going to feel bad about it. Not in the slightest. So good stuff there. All right, now we start with the post-game super chats. JD, get the hell out of Dodge. Knicks stole that one. Can you steal something when you outscore your opponent 26-14 in the last 8.5 minutes of the fourth quarter? Yeah, they obviously, as I just read the pool report quote, they were fortunate. They were fortunate. I don't want to hear that the Knicks stole that game. No, not going to hear it. Thanks, JD. JD with another one. Cap has reached legend status. Well, status, if he hasn't already. I mean, he has. He has already. He's like, this is 3 years. He's not even done with his third year. And there's no question in anybody's mind, anyone's mind, that Jalen Brunson is one of the foremost important Knicks of the last 50 years. Since Clyde and since Reed and those guys went on their merry way. Like, zero question. Jalen Brunson, Patrick Ewing, Carmelo Anthony, Bernard King. Those are your four in the last 50 years. And we could talk about Brunson versus Melo. We could talk about Brunson versus King. My thing is, like, how many years does he need to play here before we start really getting into Mount Rushmore territory? Ultimately, it's going to depend on the postseason right now. Moments like this. And if he keeps racking up enough of these, and if he racks up some of them in some later rounds, which we haven't seen yet, then we could really start having some conversations. Thank you, JD. Jibo, no more cat slander ever. Well, spoiler alert, Jibo, you're going to be getting more cat slander. He is that sort of a player. He is a maddening player. He is, like I said, tantalizing in every way. He'll have bad games, and he's going to do things that are going to drive people through the roof. But with Cat, you have to take the bad with the good. There's going to be some bad sometimes. As there is, by the way, with like pretty much everyone. With Cat, because his good is so good, people get that much more infuriated with the bad because that you look at it and you're like, how is this the same guy? How is this the same guy that's doing this silly shit? You know? And not like being able to figure out what's going on the floor right now. It doesn't, like, that's just who he is. You have to appreciate him for what he is, and you have to appreciate him for what he isn't. And I kind of went into this year with a pretty clear mindset because I've been fascinated by Cat for the entirety of the time he's been in the league. So I've loved this season from Cat. And if we get less Cat slander because of what he did today, all the better. Thanks, Jibo. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? I mean, that's just one of the best Knicks games ever. It's the defining game of the season. For sure. It's the defining game of the season. Game 1, great win. Game 3, great win. This game, defining game. Defining game because it had it all. Everything on the spectrum of Knicks fandom this year, good and bad, this game had. And they won it. Thanks, Dan. Manny Campos, what's going on, Manny? Good to hear from you. Cry more, Pistons fans. Your tears give me life. I mean, I'm Pistons fans talked a lot of shit. And you know what? Because of this thing with the Hardaway foul that they said they could have called and it wasn't called, they will cry all off season long. They will cry all off season long. And I shouldn't be talking like the fan of a team that just won a series because the Knicks did not win this series yet. Although, I mean, my Lord. Take care of business, guys. Preferably on Tuesday. But anyway, they'll be crying the whole summer. And that's why the Knicks need to take care of business on Tuesday. Because all that crying is going to sound like a whole lot of nothing if the team lost the series in 5 games. Thanks, Manny. TJ2K, meow. Jay Hart, Captain Clutch is my GOAT. Hashtag 1 to go. It's a great position to be in. Kat says after the game, I'm just trying to do my best Jalen Brunson impersonation. That's a great line. Shout out Fred Katz for that tweet. And then Brunson, when asked about Bridges and OG Anunoby defensively in this game, they've been great all year, regardless of what people say or think. That's the sort of thing that the captain goes up there and says. Thanks, TJ2K. Appreciate you. Robert W. Cross. Can I just take a second? I fucked up. Robert Cross's birthday was last week, and I did not acknowledge it. Robert Cross is as good a supporter of Knicks Film School as we have. And more importantly than that, he's been a great friend and at times a mentor to me over the years. So belatedly, Robert, I hope you'll accept A, my apologies, and B, my well wishes. Happy birthday, my friend. You got, and even worse, I think they might have gotten either 53 wins on your birthday or the day after your birthday, the day before your birthday. We are now at 54 wins on the season, which is even better than 53. So happy belated birthday to you, man. Your super chat, first time, long time. It's your boy John. This is why you trade for one Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. I mean, again, he is. You watch him, and you watch his moments where he's good, and you see him hold up on the defensive end of the floor, and you're like, man, if we could just harness this. If we could just harness this, and I think that quest maybe drove the Pistons in some unfortunate places over the years. And ultimately it was money that got them to trade Karl Anthony Towns. If it wasn't for the money, though, I think Cat would still be a Timberwolf. And I don't even think that's a controversial statement. And now it's on the Knicks, and would I love to see Karl Anthony Towns in like a situation where, I mean, defensively, I think the Knicks have insulated him. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was about to say almost as well as possible. They have another weak spot on the floor defensively, the Knicks. So that's obviously an issue. You would love to see that not be the case, but also that guy's Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson we love forever and ever. And then offensively, like, how cool would it be if Karl Anthony Towns would, like, if you put one more like high-ish end shot creator in the lineup? Now, that's obviously asking for a lot, especially when Cat is making $50 whatever million, so it kind of makes it tough. But yeah, and then we could talk about like the Hart, spacing issues that have been caused this year and maybe not being able to take full advantage of 5 out. So like he hasn't, like, there have been things that have made Cat's life more difficult this year. There were things that made Cat's life more difficult in this game. And yet, he comes through more often than not, or he has come through more often than not for this franchise this season. And that's awesome. Thanks, Robert. Rich McLeod, I literally can't even speak. What can you even say about Brunson and Cat, about what Brunson and Cat just did? That game was an odyssey. It was 3 games in 1. And each of those games was like, ain't nothing boring about any of those, because you're sitting there and you're watching the first 22 minutes. And excuse me, I should be even more specific. 22 minutes and 5 seconds, because the Brunson miss came with 1:55 to go. And actually, no, let's make it 22 minutes and 11 seconds, because that's when the first Tobias Harris 3-point play happened. For 22 minutes, it was the strangest feeling as a fan, because you're sitting and you're watching them do exactly what you wanted them to come out and do. And yet you're like, we should be up by 20 plus points. And you don't want to get mad at guys for like just missing good looks. It was a little frustrating. We haven't mentioned Deuce McBride's name on this post game yet. He made his first 3. I thought, boom, we're going to have the Deuce game. It's tonight. Missed his next 4 from deep. Or which were all the attempts that he took in this game. And like, it was rough. Obviously, Mikal had his chances. OG had some chances. So it was so frustrating. And then the transition stuff on top of it. And then as like, you felt the game flip. And I know at halftime, shout out to anybody, all the Knicks Film School newsletter subscribers on Substack who came and joined me for the halftime zone. I was like putting on a good face during halftime, be like, come out, play your game, this and that. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, I feel like momentum is turned in this game. And I feel like the Pistons are just going to come out and they're going to just keep it going. And they did. And like, the Knicks have to look at why for the 3rd consecutive third quarter, they just could not get out of their own way. This is now 3 straight third quarters. And I haven't pulled up yet the game log from our friends at Pivot Fade, but I believe going into this game, the Knicks starting lineup through the series, shout out to Fred Katz. If he didn't have this in a recent missive, he will soon, but I know it because he texted it to me. They had been outscored, I believe, by 1 point through 60 some odd minutes. In this game, the starting lineup, and of course I'm not signed in. I'll get it in a bit, but I'll be curious to look and see where they landed here. Anyway. Oh, here we go. Now it's letting me sign in. Okay, great. Hold on, I got it right here. Give me half a second. This is scintillating podcasting, I know. Okay, the starting lineup in this game outscored by 2 points in 26 minutes and 49 seconds. But again, the vast majority of that was in the third quarter. So like they have to look at what happened, like what's going on at halftime, guys, and fix that going into game 5. Thanks, Rich. Rich with another one. Also, yeah, that was a foul at the end, but I don't want to hear it. The Pistons got away with mugging the Knicks that entire game. Fair is fair. Yeah, I mean, basically, my sentiments exactly. Ian Begley or this was SNY, saying that Mikal Bridges said campaign was one of his teammates encouraging him throughout the game. Quote, sometimes got him calling me some not good names helps as well. That's pretty funny. Yeah, those guys are clearly tight. Thanks, Rich. Juanon, my man. That scene in Major League 2. You have no marbles. Yeah, that was more Arnold Schwarzenegger, actually, than the accent from Major League 2. I apologize. Well, for the first time this season, the Knicks had marbles. Statement win. If I'm Boston, I didn't like seeing this. Hashtag fire Tibbs. I'm going to just say right now, if the Knicks had lost this game, I wouldn't have given them a prayer of beating Boston. Because I think if they had lost this game, I think the series goes 7 games for sure. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I did pick them in 6, which may still happen. Let's hope it doesn't. But if they had lost, I think their only chance, real chance of beating Boston is to get a little rest going into that series. We should all be rooting like hell for the Orlando Magic to take care of business on their home floor later today. I'm not counting on it. But bigger picture-wise, Juanon, I think the Knicks have... Maybe the Knicks needed a series like this to get to the point where they actually would have a chance. And I still don't know that I really believe they have a chance against Boston. I'd have to think about that more. But if they had, like, played against the Bucks, for instance, and just, like, been able to go out there and do what they knew they could do, I don't know how, if that would have really benefited them. Even if, like, maybe that would have been an easier series. And again, it's weird to talk about because the series isn't over yet. Going through this series and being confronted with the challenges that they have been confronted with and which they have largely answered, I don't know. I'll say this. I have more hope than I did 4 games ago. And I might have a lot more hope. I still don't know how much hope I have, but I definitely have more than I did 4 games ago. Thank you, Juanon. Appreciate you. Deadwards604. Thank you, Deadwards. Having to now watch the Devils game after this Knicks game is not doing my cardiac health any favors. Oh, and Brunson is God. I know the Devils are a hockey team. I'm assuming that they are in the playoffs. So congratulations to them. Devils score. What do we got? The Devils. The Devils are losing 3-1, and they are down 2-1 in this series. So I'm sorry for that, Deadwards. Hope for better luck in the rest of this game. Robert W. Cross with another one from the birthday boy. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. PG is my favorite position in ball because of Magic. I waited forever and a day here for the orange and blue. Brunson is that guy. And we got one more from Robert that I'm going to read, and then I'll get back to the Brunson point. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. Don't want to lose sight of the fact that the officiating in this series has been a puzzle and was atrocious in this game. I don't know what to make of the officiating. And, like, I think the officials have kind of lost the plot a little bit. Because it's hard to know what's a foul and what's not a foul. And it feels like they're kind of making it up as they go along. I don't know. I don't know. I like, if they had lost this game, I think I would have been a lot more critical on the Knicks process and the Knicks execution during the third quarter than I would have been on the officials. That's me. I'm not saying I'd be right. Generally, anybody who's watched me for a while knows I tend not to, like, care about the officials all that much. So yeah, that's where I'm at there. On the Brunson point, Brunson being that guy, yeah, I get why point guard is your favorite position, and it's not a coincidence that the Knicks didn't win anything for a very long time, because that position for the better part of 50 years was as barren as any team's point guard position. That's not to say that there haven't been really good point guards that have come through. Michael Ray Richardson, Ray Williams, Mark Jackson. I don't think Charlie Ward gets as much credit as he deserves, so I'll mention his name as well. Stephon Marbury. Obviously, we had a cup of coffee with Jeremy Lin, Ray Felton. There have been guys who have come here and have represented themselves with class and dignity and with some modicum of effectiveness during their time. We have not had anyone even remotely close to the level of floor general. And I know I say that purposefully, and you could be like, well, that's not really fair, Macri, because, like, Mark Jackson was like a point guard. Like, he you go back and you look at some of Mark Jackson's assist games and they were crazy. I get that, but I think implicit in being a floor general, and this isn't to say that Mark Jackson couldn't get a bucket, or like Stephon Marbury for that matter. Obviously, Steph was a great bucket getter, but it has to be both. It has to be both at like a high enough level. And I thought, like, for instance, like Jalen Brunson on the Cat 3 that made it 88-87, which was just an absolute had to have it after the Pistons had rattled off 4 straight. And it looked like if the Knicks didn't score there, it looked like the Knicks were just not going to win the game. You felt it in your gut. I don't know if they needed a 3 there, but that play wasn't really going anywhere. And then, but Jalen kept poking the defense. And the second that the Detroit defense made an error with Duren playing too far off a Cat, a bullet to Karl Anthony Towns behind the 3-point arc. And of course, Cat drains it. That's your leader. That's your floor general. That's your initiator. That's your engine. It's everything you need in a star point guard. He's got it. Thank you, Robert. Will Oliver, Jesus Christ, my blood pressure. I can't take it. LOL. Oh man. This game was like, I was annoyed in the first half that they couldn't get up bigger. I was obviously annoyed at the end of the second quarter. And then the third quarter happening. And by the time the Pistons took the lead, like, I wasn't even annoyed anymore. I was just like, that's this team. You know, that's who these Knicks are. They are so tantalizing. Much like Towns, right? So tantalizing. And yet they leave so much to be desired at times. And then by the time, obviously, when they went down by 10, 11 points in the fourth quarter, I was like, all right. But then when Brunson came back in, and he missed his first shot after he came back in, and I don't think it was close. It didn't hit the rim. So I was like, oh, well, Brunson's going to go out there, and he's going to probably make this worse, and he's going to miss game 5, and now we're going to be down 3-2 heading back to Detroit for game 6. That's what I was thinking. And I was just annoyed and just frustrated, and I was like, not having like bad negative thoughts, but I was like, man, this is just this team this year. This is just who they are. I think I maybe had lost the will to be mad at that point. And then he started to make buckets. And then when the consecutive Bridges 3s went down and the second one cut the lead to 3, that was the first time I was like, okay, let's fucking go. Let's do this. This is here for us. We can do this. And then after the second 3, I have a whole page of notes after the second 3. And that whole time, I was with you. I was pacing. I was going nuts. I mean, you saw the video. What can you say, man? This is sports. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And here we are. This is why you watch. Thanks, Will. Kento Cato, what's going on, Kento? Third quarter, ugly per usual, but I'll take it. 32 points, ethical masterpiece from Cat. And Cat, huge down the stretch. Again, cry more, Detroit. Knicks in 5. Let's freaking go. No, I mean, the Brunson game was absolutely a masterpiece. I think since the game 2 issues, I think Brunson with over the games 3 and 4, you could count the exceptions to what I'm about to say on one hand between both games total. I think his process has been perfect. Again, with like a handful of exceptions, if that. Like every shot that he's taken, like I've been cool with. Every pass that he's made, I've been cool with. 30. Could you just say real quick? The man had on one ankle for the last quarter, 32 points and 11 assists and 2 turnovers and 5 rebounds, including, by the way, Jalen Brunson had 3 offensive rebounds in this game. More than anybody else on the Knicks, except for Mitchell Robinson, who had 3. It's insane. It's insane what he did out there. Absolutely insane. I know they're going to cry in Detroit about the foul thing at the end. Like, you got beat by one of the masters of the game. Tip your cap. Do the right thing. Tip your cap. Because you know what? If I was on a Detroit post game and I was talking about the Pistons and I was a Pistons fan, like, yeah, of course I would be complaining about the non-call. And I would say the Detroit Pistons got robbed. This should be 4-4. But I would also, at the other side of my mouth, I'd be saying, guys, you had an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter at home. Like, go finish the game. How do you let Jalen Brunson do that? Go finish the game. That's what I would have said. Thanks, Kento. Mecky, what's going on, Mecky? Heroics. You can't write a better script. Cat was incredible. My God, the game-winning shot. Brunson, you can't say enough about him. Came back with that Mamba mentality. Clutch, Jordan, Kobe, Brunson. Wow. Them's some bars. Some names. That's like, oh my God, what's the Eminem song? Of course I'm gonna go to an Eminem song. Probably the wrong rapper to quote given who they're playing in this series. But where he goes through like the rappers he has ahead of him in the all-time rankings. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name of the freaking song. Somebody help me out. But that's what it feels like you're doing here. Look, those are two of the, obviously Jordan, Kobe, one of the 10 to 12 greatest players of all time. Till I collapse. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Mark on the ones and twos with a lifesaver. I lost count of how many times I've gone running till I collapse. I may do that tomorrow morning. I may do that after this postgame. The way I'm feeling right now. Anyway, yeah, man. I mean, look, Jalen Brunson at this point, look, NBA is 20 years away from releasing a top 100 of all time list. Is anybody going to sit here right now and be like, yeah, Jalen Brunson, he doesn't have a shot at that? I'm not going to do that. Certainly not. I don't know that he has enough time left. I mean, you look at Chauncey Billups, who was a guy who was obviously more of a two-way player than Jalen Brunson is. He was, off the top of my head, was Chauncey Billups 5-time All-NBA? I think he was 5-time All-NBA, 7 All-Stars. I might be off on that. Hang on. Don't kill me if I have that way off. No, I overshot it. 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. Of course, he was the Finals MVP and an NBA champion as ostensibly the best player on that team. The difference is that Chauncey never had, now different era, but Chauncey never even averaged 20 points in a season. His high was actually with Denver, believe it or not, in the 2009-2010 season when he averaged 19.5 points, finished 5th in MVP, finished 6th in MVP. That's probably the highest Brunson will ever finish. Like, that's, if you're looking at it right now, it's not the best comp because, again, Brunson as a scorer is just like in a different stratosphere. But then again, Billups as a defender is in a different stratosphere. So, Billups is like that next tier down from guys that you're going to consider for that rarefied air. I think if the Knicks go win a championship, which, again, God willing, before I die, and Brunson is like the no doubt about it best guy in, like, on the team, as opposed to Billups, who was more like one of a collective, as important of a leader as he was. Is it possible we see Brunson get into that level of rarefied air because of what you're talking about, Mecky? Now, again, Billups, what's his nickname? Mr. Big Shot. So, but, like, I don't know, man. I hope he has that. I hope Chauncey has that nickname trademarked or copyrighted or something. Put a patent on that baby if you have to, because Jalen Brunson's coming for that title. He is as much of a Mr. Big Shot as anyone else playing in the sport right now. He's that good, and he's that clutch. Thanks, Becky. You don't know. You don't know. F the refs, F Detroit, F the entire Hardaway bloodline. Hashtag let's go Knicks. Hashtag Brunson is not human. The Hardaway part of it is tough for me. Tim Hardaway Sr. is one of, so Reggie's obviously number one. I love Michael Jordan. Obviously and also I didn't really come to Knicks fandom until the 93-94 season. So I only got one playoff series between those two teams, and it was not a real series because it was the 72 win Bulls team. So I didn't, it was before 93-94 where the Bulls series. So I never considered Jordan like I hated him or whatever. For me, it was always Reggie number one. Tim certainly was number two. I'm trying to think how guys like Trey or like Halliburton or Embiid, trying to think who else, I don't know that any current player or any player over the last few years, even Trey Young, rises to the level of Tim Hardaway Sr. in terms of Nick rival. So I guess what I'm saying is he's probably my number two individual player, Nick rival ever. Zoe I had too much respect for. I didn't like to me, him and Ewing were just like, I don't know. I didn't hate Zoe. I just respected Zoe. Tim Hardaway, I fucking hated that guy because he was good. So, but the tough part with that is I thought Tim Hardaway Jr., he wasn't a great Knick. Obviously, he wasn't a great Knick, but I thought I appreciated him when he was a Knick. He got branded the second time around with that. Steve Mills, it's not Tim's fault that Steve signed him to that contract. And he had to live with that every day he was here. And that was hard. But Tim Hardaway Jr. was a good Knick. And so I watch him now and I'm like, obviously it's annoying when he's hitting shots against our team. It's very annoying, especially since he was looked like he might be done as an NBA rotation player. And here he is starting for the Pistons, hitting these big shots. It's but you know what? At the end of the day, Tim Hardaway Jr. in this game, in a game where it felt like he absolutely murdered the Knicks. He was 4 of 13 from deep and 5 of 16 overall. So what can you do? Thanks, you don't know. Debo, find a way to win. Celebrate the pretty wins and the ugly, gritty ones. Knicks in 5. Keep crying, Detroit. I love the keep crying energy. I love that. Oh, man. I was like, the notion that Detroit still doesn't have a playoff win since the freaking Bush administration. One of the Bush administrations. I'm not even sure which one. Nice little icing on the cake. Thanks, Devo. But I don't care enough about them to really, be reveling, I guess. Dan Hidalgo, that's why you get Cat. We have 2 clutch options now. Not something you could have said about Cat for a lot of his career. Sure seemed pretty clutch today. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Dan. Jibo, this is up there with the Dante win from last year. Whoo. Man. That was a singular moment. It was a back and forth game, and then obviously they were down late in the fourth quarter. We were like, all right, they're not going to win this game. What were they down? They're down 5. But that was it wasn't they were down 11. And it was the thing that made this so crazy was along the way, the Pistons made big plays and made big shots. They just couldn't stop Jalen Brunson. And then at the end, they couldn't stop Karl Anthony Towns. different sorts of games. If you want to tell me these are the two best Knicks playoff wins over the last 2 years, and if you want to say that they're maybe the two best playoff wins of the Thibodeau era, go out, win game 5. How about that? Go out and win game 5 before we put it in that class. Thanks, Shibo. Mecky with another one. Man, thank you, Mecky. Really generous of you. Appreciate you. Simmons saying that Tibbs had a terrible game and tweeting out halfway through the 4th. I thought he was smart taking out Mitch so they wouldn't hack a Mitch, and that after timeout play for Cats 3 was incredible. I don't know, again, Simmons is the podfather. He is the reason that me and everybody like me are doing what we're doing. I saw my first inspiration from Simmons well over a decade ago. There's still a little bit of Bill Simmons in every newsletter that I write. Simmons had a take at the beginning of this postseason, and that take was Tibbs is on the hot seat. And he went back to that take after game 2. And by the way, after game 2, he was justified to go back to that take. But we know what Simmons, this is not his first rodeo. If he has a take and there's a chance for him to kind of double down on that take and be made to look smart because of that take, he's going to go back to it, even in situations where it doesn't make all the sense in the world to go back to that take. How you could blame today on the coach with them falling behind, again, they should have 25. They just weren't hitting open shots. So what are you going to do about that? And then they kind of got in their heads a little bit in game 3, and they did not respond to what Detroit was throwing at them. I thought all of the lineup decisions, all the rotations today, I think all of that stuff was strong. So that's my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but that's where I'm at. Thanks, Becky. Luyen, what's going on, Luyen? Thank you for the generosity. On a flight, can't stream the game. Did I miss anything important? Nah, man. Ho-hum win. How about the second game in a 4-game series that ends with both teams 100 or fewer points? How about that? Man. All right, we got some more we've got some more complaining here. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Tim Hardaway Sr. All I got to say, it's a missed call. That's all I got to say. Missed call. That's all I got to say. That's not good for our league to miss those types of calls. Point blank. Okay, I mean, the man is justified in his position. That it's a missed call? Saying it's not good for our league? I mean, come on. Give me a break. Will Kebby Bing Bong. Yes, that's what I hate fucking Bing Bong, but I'll pull out the Bing Bong in response to Timmy's bitching and moaning. Yeah, they just show the replay now on the halftime. Come on. That's not egregious. Give me a fucking break. Mr. McBagels. Respect Bridges. Bad first half. Clutch shots in the 4th. I mean, the clutch shots were huge. I respect Bridges because of what he did defensively throughout the entire game. I'll reference it again. I called Bridges out, and I called him out because I was frustrated, and I was frustrated with this team. And I did the thing that I said in what I wrote people have been doing all year, fairly or unfairly, which is offlaying a lot of those frustrations on him, because he has been in many ways a representation of the difference between last year's team and this year's team. All Bridges has done in the last 96 minutes of basketball is get down and dirty, get tough, make winning plays, and be there when his team needed him in the ways that his team needed him. Has he been perfect? No, he hasn't been perfect. He's a role player. It's not supposed to be perfect. You know, similar to what I said about Tim Hardaway Jr. a few minutes ago about it's not his fault that Steve Mills gave all that money for him. It's not Mikal Bridges' fault that the Knicks traded what they traded for him. And that's unfortunately going to be a part of his legacy with the Knicks for however long he's here. But like, if you just look objectively at what Mikal Bridges has done in this series, and you say, is this enough from a 3rd/4th option on a top-heavy team? I think you'd have to say yes. It's enough. Thanks, Mr. McBagels. Appreciate you. Sam Roth, what's going on, Sam? Jalen Brunson is inevitable. Where's my? Oh, I think I packed it up. I had a Thanos Infinity Gauntlet, but it's not here right now, unfortunately. Yes, but much like Thanos, Jalen Brunson is inevitable. And shout out to the Clutch Cat, meow. Thank you, KFS. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you, man. Jesse D. Don't worry about Cat Malik. You're good, bro. But seriously, the cat slander needs to stop. Appreciate you, KFS. I love all the cat love. And I love it because it's deserved, and because I think sometimes I personally get tempted when like there are multiple players that come up big and have big moments and have big games to boast up and prop up the players where it's like easier to do so. Propping up Jalen Brunson is the easiest thing to do in the world. It really is. There's nothing that's ever been easier for Knicks fans, ever. You know, Cat is a guy that has he has not been everybody's cup of tea this year. I love the love that he is getting from Knicks fans so far tonight. And just that was all filibustering in case you weren't paying attention. Okay, so in this series, Karl-Anthony Towns, 22.8 points. It's fine. In 38.5 minutes. That's fine. 53% from the field. The only Knick who is shooting better from the field in this series is Cam Payne. Now, Cam Payne is taking 3.3 shots per game. Karl-Anthony Towns is attempting 16.5 shots per game. Karl-Anthony Towns, through 4 games, is 10 of 20 from deep. That is by far the most efficient Knick outside shooter when you factor in volume. Yes, I know Josh Hart is actually shooting 55% from deep in the series. Cam Payne is shooting 60% from deep in the series. But when you factor in the volume, again, 5 threes per game, big time stuff from Karl-Anthony Towns. 8.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 1.3 turnovers. I was very worried about the Towns turnovers in this series. It has not been an issue. And then 1.5 blocks and 1.3 steals. Pretty impressive stuff there. And oh, by the way, do you want to know which Knick has the best plus minus of this series? Karl-Anthony Towns, plus 6.3. There you go. Thanks, Jesse. Jason, what's going on, Jason? I'm just going to enjoy this win and not pay attention. X's and O's. Brunson is so damn special. He was fouled all night, and they still couldn't stop him. Yeah, he was. But, like, implicit in X's and O's is, like, do you have one of those guys that you could take advantage of his special talents? That's part of X's and O's. It is. Like, I'm looking forward to hearing what Benji and DJ have to say about this game. I think the Knicks did a lot of really good things from an X's and O's perspective. They did some not nice things from an X's and O's perspective. I agree with you, Jason. I don't think that anyone, even if you are a really process-orientated fan, should be feeling discouraged or bad about this win. Because I thought, again, they did not have the lead that they should have been from a process standpoint in the first half. And did they win a game where the process wasn't good throughout? X's and O's were not great throughout? Yes. But it's like there's two sides to that coin, if you catch my drift here. Thanks, Jason. Brolick Jesus, what's going on, Brolick? A rare no call on that last possession. That could have gone south if they did, but who cares? We got the win, baby. Let's go Knicks. And also F Tobias Harris. Yeah, Tobias Harris, man, he's getting really chippy. He's trying to get in Cat's head. He called the Knicks soft going into game 3. Called him soft. Didn't say it out loud, but he called him soft. Very clear. Can't call him soft now. Sorry. Thanks, bro, Jesus. Funny! Shout out to my man, David Futternick, out in the mean streets of Los Angeles. An all-timer. 2 stars living up to their expectations and then some. What a gift that game was for us. I guess the booing didn't work, huh? Shout out to Bernard King, just cause basketball is beautiful. Well, as usual, David, you give me a super chat that I can't do anything with because that was damn perfect. It was a gift. And I was trying to verbalize that out of the gate at the top of the show. And I don't know that I did a great job of it, but like there was just something very special about this win and being able to get this win in the way that they got it. Again, this year has been a frustrating year. It just has. We could pretend that it hasn't been. We could say all the right things. I could say all the right things. 51 wins, 3 seed, all of it. I could say all those things, but I know how I felt. What am I going to do? Get mad at fans for feeling how they felt during the course of the regular season when I'm sitting here watching the same thing and I'm like, man, this doesn't feel like it should feel. It doesn't feel like I want it to feel. So I know it's crazy to say. I know if anyone watching this is not a Knicks fan is going to listen to it and be like, this is very silly. This is coming off very silly from a franchise that was in the wilderness for the better part of 20 years. That they deserved this win or they needed this win or they like, and yet I know I don't have to justify that to anyone watching the show who's like been through it. Anyway, thank you, David. I appreciate you. Chris Smith, what's going on, Chris? Great to hear from you. Bloody hell, that was intense. Mikal Fortier, if you know, you know, with some massive threes after having a stinker shooting, some great defense. Absolutely massive win. Enjoy your mid-afternoon, John. Up the Knickerbockers. Yes. I mean, the only regret that I have today is that I wish the NBA pressed pause on all the games and I could sit and watch the Laker Timberwolf game in its entirety. My understanding, however, is that up until maybe just the last couple of minutes, Julius Randle was having perhaps the best postseason game of his life. But the Lakers are currently on an 11-0 run, which is good because I bet the Lakers money line today. So anyway, So I don't know where I was going with that, but I hope you have a great mid-afternoon too, Chris. Sam Garcia, 3 down, 1 to go. Yes, Sam, 1 more. Can we do ourselves a favor? And I say this on behalf of the basketball team who doesn't maybe know I exist. Get it done on Tuesday. Can we do that? Can we do that? Please? Pretty please? With sugar on top? Thank you, Sam. Oscar Long, what's going on, Oscar? Stay up till 4 a.m. for this cardiac affair. Hashtag Nixon5. Shout out to you, Oscar. Let's see if I could figure out where you are. Stayed up till 4 a.m. Stayed up till 4 a.m. So across the pond, it's later. 4 a.m. That's much later. That's a lot later. Hold on. Google. Where is it 5 a.m. right now? Oh, now it's pulling me to the worldwide clock. Oh, oh my God. What is this? What is this? I can't read this. Okay, so here, hold on. In Tokyo, it's 6:24 in the morning. So that means you're like way the fuck out. Mark says he thinks Hong Kong. It's a good guess. It's a good guess, Mark. Somewhere over there. I think it's in Asia. Mark says his denomination is Hong Kong. Okay, well, there you go. Listen, Oscar, whatever. It was fucking worth it. That's all that matters. Thank you. Mecky with another one. Mecky, Jesus Christ. Mecky, thank you, man. Really, this is like, I hope my gratitude for your generosity comes through as much as is possible, because it really does mean a lot that you always, like, and it's like every time you're super generous. So just really thank you. Truly. Mikal was huge on defense and shot making was clutch. I have to mention some bad after 2 good chats. That's totally fine. Josh, he fouled him. Yes, he did. Thank God they didn't call it. Yes, thank God. Mikal's defense was bad. Mitch, not great. Need to seize opportunities better. So, Mecky, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to flip those 2 things around, and I'm going to try to flip the negatives into a positives. I know this isn't a literal truth, but the Knicks have essentially won 2 road playoff games against a team that I consider to be a real team. Reasonable minds may disagree. Are they a contender? No. Are they even in the next echelon, depending on how you do your echelons? Are they in that next echelon after contenders? Not necessarily. I still think they're a real team. And you went in there and you won consecutive games in their building when they had some real momentum. They had some real momentum coming off of game 2. And you did it essentially with 5 players. Because Deuce, he had 1 big 3 in the last game. He had 1 big 3 in this game. Short of that, Landry Shamet played under a minute. Cameron Payne, he played 7 minutes, missed both of his shots, got a couple rebounds, got an assist, but more or less, campaign, non-entity. And I don't blame them. I don't blame Tibbs for going away from campaign, because those were some rough campaign minutes before Jalen Brunson came back in the 4th quarter. And then Mitch, like you said, I know Mitch got 3 offensive rebounds. And look, he might be sick. I just didn't think Mitch was all that good this game or the last game. And again, he's sick, so we give him a pass. 2 straight road playoff wins with 5 guys. You know, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thanks, Mecky. Frank Miranda. What's up, Mac? It's your boy Frank from Patreon. If this version of this team shows up, the one in this game and game 3, they will push Boston far. They have a semblance of an identity. Let's freaking go. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I agree with you, and I agree with your phrasing, Frank. It's a semblance of an identity. It's not an identity yet. It's a semblance of an identity. Without question, and this includes that little stretch in January where they had some big wins and they got a bunch of turnovers and everything. I feel better about this team defensively right now than I have at any point this season, and I'm not sure it's close. That was always going to have to be part of the identity. Had to be. No compromise. Had to be part of the identity. Is it perfect? It's not perfect. But I feel pretty good about the way they've defended through 4 games. Offensively, it's been a battle at times. It has been a battle at times. But again, you are finding some things. Many people have said the playoffs show you who you are. The playoffs reveal the truth. This Pistons team knew exactly how to go about trying to stop this Knicks offense. And all of us knew it was coming, and I'm sure they knew it was coming. And it hasn't always been pretty, but amidst those challenges, the Knicks have represented themselves, I think, pretty well. On the whole, again, not been perfect, but I say this a lot. Perfect is the enemy of the good. And so I think I'm with you. I still, if I had to give you the elevator pitch for this Knicks team, I'm still not sure what it would be. So that's kind of where I'm struggling. But again, you said it. It's a semblance of an identity, which is probably more than we could say 4 games ago. So I'll take it. Thanks, Frank. Ben Kim Gervey, what's going on, Ben? 11 steals, 6 cat threes, 11 Jalen Brunson assists. F them refs, the shit pie arena. What's why you hate on Little Caesars? Douche Dennis, yes. Denty Moore, Cade et al. 9 wins to go. I love the confidence, man. 6 cat threes. Did Cat have 6 threes and I missed it? Oh, he put up 6 threes. And he had 5 of them. My God, I didn't even realize that. Cat was 5 of 6 from 3. I knew he was 50% for the playoffs, but 5 of 6 from 3. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. That dog will hunt. Yeah, no, and to anyone who's maybe unfamiliar with Ben, he's been kind of harping on the same themes for a while now. Cat's got to get up the threes. You got to get the turnovers up, and you got to force turnovers. Jalen Brunson has to distribute the basketball. All these things. All of them were great. All of them were great. Thanks, Ben. Sam K, what's going on, Sam? F Detroit, yes. Detroit Brunson is indeed the best player in the series. Yes. Hey, K, JB would have hit that shot. Hashtag let's go Knicks. Well, I don't want to say too much bad about K because JB did have a shot at the end there to ice it. And I think it was just I think he was so surprised that he was so wide open down the rim. And it's not it was a weirdly tough angle. And it was a good late contest from, I think it was Duran, to at least make Jalen think twice about it. But fair is fair. Cade isn't the only point guard who missed a shot in the last minute. That said, Cade in the fourth quarter. So he made. So the last field goal he hit was the 13-footer to put him up 88-84 with 3:06 to go. Before that, he drew a foul, made 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Those were his only points in the last 10 minutes. Those were his only points in the last 2 minutes. And then he missed a 7-footer with 5:38 to go. That was a big miss. Of course, Duran got the offensive rebound, and they got a little lucky. Beasley missed a 3. So that was a miss. And then it was 2 misses in the last 70 seconds. He obviously missed the pull-up at the end, and he also missed the 15-footer before the Towns 3. Man, I had forgotten that the Pistons, not only did they have that 4-point lead with before the first Towns 3, they had a 4-point lead before the Towns fadeaway. I'd forgotten they took 2 4-point leads in the last 3 minutes of this game and weren't able to win it. Man. Anyway, Cade missed the 15-footer after the Towns fadeaway. So yeah. Cade, good game. Came up a little short. True statement. What's going on, True? Every year, Captain Clutch has to go into the playoffs, reminding everyone he is him. Why is nostalgia only allowed in Knicks playoff games? You don't see this allowed in any other playoff series. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Pretty soon he's not going to have to remind anybody because we're just going to kind of know. But yeah, it's great to see it. Thanks, True Statement. Appreciate the generous contribution. Hey, my mom, Marcia Carousel. Shout out, Mom. I was wondering what you meant when you texted me right after the final buzzer. KFS pledged money, but wanted to say they are the better team. Happy JB was back in the game. Listen, my mom knows ball. She may not know how to type anything in the super chat and had to text me what she wanted to say in the super chat, but we will not hold that against her. Thank you, Mom. I know you're still watching. I know you watch all these post games. You're the best mom in the world. I would not be here without you in so many different ways. And as Mark says, yes, the tech skills do run in the family. All right. I'll call you after this one's over. Bill Peter Friend with a generous contribution. Bill was able to get his words in here, though. Holy effing shit. Yes. I think I lost 5 years at the end. Cat finally comes up huge. Still concerned about how we blow big leads, but enjoy this one. Total roller coaster. Yeah, no, Bill, this one had a unique personality. And I don't disagree with you. You know, it was a blown lead in 3 acts. Act 1, the lead wasn't nearly as big as it should have been. Act 2, you had 110 seconds of kind of a brain fart at the end of the half. Maybe the fact that they should have been up by so much more than they were finally got to them, and it's all it takes in the playoffs. It's all it takes in the playoffs. You let your foot off the gas for, again, 100 seconds. It's enough. It's enough. That was Act 2, and then Act 3, coming out in the third quarter, the Detroit Pistons upped the physicality. The Knicks got a ton of driving lanes. They were not able to take advantage of any of those driving lanes, converting at the rim or any of that sort of stuff. And they kept going cold from 3. So, you know, there was a point in this game, I think I tweeted it out. Yeah, after 3 quarters. Let me find it. Because I looked at it, I'm like, this can't be real. Hold on. They were 12 of 43 on 2-point field goals after 3 quarters. You know? So, like, I think given the, like, very specific sort of offensive ineptitude, it makes the blown lead more understandable. I'm not saying it makes you feel good about it, but I'm slightly more understanding of it. If I don't know if that's too wishy-washy of me, but that's kind of where I'm at. And I promise you, I would have been that way. I think I would have been that way, even had they lost this game. I would have been more frustrated, obviously. But yeah. Thank you, Bill. Hutch Zoo, what's going on, Hush? Greatest effing shooting big of all time. And if you don't believe Hush, all you gotta do is ask Cat. Listen. The dude has every right to boast. He has every right to boast. If I was Cat, I'd boast too. He should be boasting right now, wherever he is. Thanks, Hush. Jibo, this was also the biggest Bridges game too. Was it the biggest Bridges game as a Knick? I don't know. The Portland game was. Portland game, the Spurs game. I know this is the playoffs. I'm trying. I wonder how I'm going to remember this game a year or 5 years from now. I I might remember Cat's shots the most because they were so insane. Even more than all the Brunson stuff. I think I might remember the Cat shots the most. Oh, this is from Jalen Brunson. Shout out to New York Basketball, best Twitter account that's out there. At NBA_New York. This is Jalen Brunson at the podium, hurting his leg late in the third. Moments like that you take a breath, relax, and think. Make sure I'm mentally ready to go back in the game because I'm going back in that game whether I'm stumbling or not. That's why he's Jalen Brunson. All right, continuing on. Matt, Knicks Scotland, my guy on the other side of the pond. How you doing, Matt? I hope you're doing well. I hope the Pistons fan who tried to mock me for my nice skirt a couple weeks ago was there tonight. Matt finds that very amusing. 3-1, baby. Listen, it's Detroit. I'll just tell you, Matt, from a sophistication standpoint, not all American cities are created equal. And you have done well to adopt the Knicks as your, home away from home team. And yeah, Detroit can go fuck off. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. Andrew Badowski, thank you for the contribution, my friend. Fritz Marty Jr. Fritz, thank you, man. All he has to say is, let's go Knicks. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really, thank you, everybody, for the generosity today. This is awesome. It's just, when I tell you, it is icing on the cake, because I like the fact that I get to do this and be here to talk to you all after a game like that is just wild. All right. Thank you, Fritz. Appreciate you. Dennis D. Sabato. What's going on, Dennis? JB is him. Dennis, I gotta call you out for anybody listening on the podcast and isn't watching on the YouTube. You didn't capitalize the H. You got to capitalize the H. But I agree with you. JB is him. That's it. That's the super chat. That's the only super chat that needs to be said. He is just what a gift. What a gift. His like you look at his playoff scoring average as a Knick. I mean, just this postseason right now, he is averaging 33.3 points per game after averaging so yeah, this season, wait, I'm in the wrong thing. Yeah. So this season he's averaging 33.3 points per game. Only Giannis Antetokounmpo is averaging more points than that. In last season's playoffs, Jalen Brunson averaged 32.4 points per game. Only Joel Embiid, who did not make it out of the first round, averaged more than that. Guy's incredible. Guy's incredible. We're so lucky. I can't say it enough. We are so freaking lucky to get to root for this dude. Please don't take it for granted. I know I do sometimes. But, yeah. Oh, my.
Knicks in one more game, bitches. What is up, Jonathan Macri? I have several shout outs to give, Mr. Macri. If you will allow me to take the floor for a second.
I'm pouring myself a bourbon.
Shout out to Tim Hardaway Sr. You loser. I'm glad you got to watch another Knicks playoff win in front of your face. Breaking news, John Macri. This just came in. Jamie Bickerstaff just used a challenge that he will probably need in the fourth quarter, in the first quarter. Shout out to Tobias Harris, you Long Island loser. You're so clearly part from that part of Nassau, by the way. So clearly part of that version of Nassau where you told everybody outside of New York that you grew up outside the city because you want to sound tough, but you're not. You're from Nassau County, you loser. Let me speak your language. You're not that guy, okay? the weirdest beats ever would have been you against Karl Anthony Towns because he's unserious and you're unscary. You loser. Breaking news. JB Bickerstaff just used another challenge in the first quarter that he might need in the fourth quarter. Shout out Malik Beasley. Brother, self-awareness is a thing. We called Tyrese Halliburton a front runner. You didn't hit a shot for a week. And the first shot you hit, you start shimmying in front of the Knicks bench. You did a too little on a jump shot. That doesn't even make sense. The jump shot. We're all too little. You jumped. You loser. You're so lucky you had a good fourth quarter. My God, you were costing yourself so much money. So many things happened since you last hit a jump shot. Like 4 games did. Breaking news. JB Bickerstaff just used another challenge that he might need in the fourth quarter, in the first quarter. And shout out to Little Caesars Arena. I owe so much to your company. My waistline, thanks you. My college budget, thanks you. Word of advice, two words of advice. Don't poke the bear because the captain bites back. Pizza, exactly. John got it. Don't poke the bear, okay? Because Jalen Brunson, the foul-baiting grifter that all you dorks in Detroit decided to have a personal connection to because, we're in the playoffs for the first time in 25 years. This matters, right? Well, you went at Jalen Brunson, and what did he do? 15 clutch fourth quarter points without a free throw. And by the way, LCA, if you want to win a playoff game, don't invite the head coach of the Lions or their quarterback. Breaking news. JB Bickerstaff just used another challenge in the first quarter.
I think he's had a challenge
in the fourth quarter.
I don't think he has 2 more challenges.
And shout outs to the New York Knicks. A hard-fought, unforgettable game. Shout out to T-Squared Social. I got to give a shout out to Ryan, to David, to Zach, to Elliot, to Gil, Elliot and his wife Allison, to ML Nair, one of our super chatters. Shout out to everybody that made the trip to T-Squared Social today. And then, of course, to our good friends at Fanatic Sportsbook. John, we're going to go revisit a segment if we could.
Sure.
So, this super chat.
Yes.
Here's $100 in fan cash from Fanatic Sportsbook. I have not bought a jersey, a Knicks jersey, since the one that's over my right shoulder right now. I think it's time. I think it is time to finally go buy myself a number 11 jersey because what he did today was the stuff of legend, was heroic stuff. It wasn't foul baiting shit. It wasn't not that good. My goodness, the hypocrisy from so many people in the media. I have to call him out, John. I am sorry. Our favorite, our one of one, Chris Ryan. You said you don't like watching Jalen Brunson when you watch Joel Embiid. My goodness, man. Stick to the rewatchables and television, which you're really good at, by the way. The New York Knicks.
Chris, I do not endorse
the thoughts and opinions of GMAC reflect the thoughts and opinions of GMAC.
It's the only.
Don't worry. Okay. What a win. I retract a statement I made earlier this week.
Sure.
I only started to have a little bit of fun during that fourth quarter. This was an identity-claiming victory because now I've seen this team go through a war. I understand it's the Pistons. I understand this is a 6 seed. I understand they allegedly don't have other scorers. There seems to be a lot of threats coming out of everywhere on this team, but they've gone through something and they've emerged the other side victorious. And look, shout out to the Pistons. You got your first win since the second Bush administration earlier this week. But you know what? It's 17 years and counting since your last home win in the playoffs. Thanks to the New York Knicks and their captain, Jalen Brunson. Oh, Kat, you're great too.
Can I just shout out my 3-leg parlay that hit?
Yes, absolutely.
Josh Hart, 8 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, 2+ made threes. Josh Hart, 5+ assists. It was originally +110, but I boosted it to +146. $24.63 on my $10 wager. I'm so happy right now.
Mm-hmm. Well done. Can I give you the good and the bad of parlays over at Fanatic Sportsbook?
Sure.
So I hit a parlay, Knicks money line, and my betting and sweating pick, Jalen Brunson 31 plus points at plus 350.
Yeah.
And then the negative may or may not have done Knicks money line, Mets minus 2.5. Mets blew a 7-1 lead, but who cares? Because the New York Knicks came back in dramatic fashion that I don't even want to go look at the replay. I don't even want to go watch those highlights. Today is about one blue and orange team and one blue and orange team only, and they play at Madison Square Garden. They will play at MSG on Tuesday night with the chance to officially nail down Knicks in 5 once again. Enjoy the rest of your post game, Jonathan Macri.
Always a pleasure, Andrew. Always a pleasure.
Maybe I'll take over. No, I just hit the wrong button.
I'm back. Shout out to Fanatic Sportsbook. Shout out to Andrew Claudio. Shout out to T Squared Social. Shout out to everybody who went to the watch party today. And of course, shout out to everybody who is still watching us as we move into hour 3 of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. Let us continue because we have a lot of super chats left to go, starting with this one from Hush Sue. I am not kidding that might have been the greatest string of shot making in Knicks history. That fourth quarter was pure art. Basketball porn. Why we love this. Let's go Knicks. Here's the thing, Hush. We've seen like all the Jalen Brunson shots. We've seen them all before. You know, we've seen all those shots before. That's the real crime of it is, and like obviously the cat shots were a different level of like poetry and magistry, but the shame of it is the non-call at the end of the game is going to on like in the clip packages that get played around the country after this game. That's going to be the thing that overshadows it, and that's such a shame because the Knicks came back and they took this game. And they are, I think, are going to deserve more credit for it than they might get. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Hush. Sam Garcia's dad, what's up, Ray? Ditto on JB being him, but Towns with 8 points in 2 minutes, starting around the 4-minute mark, was key. What a win. Yeah, no, I mean, JB can't do it by himself. He can't do it by himself. He needed somebody else. He needed somebody else. And those shots, man, I don't even know. Like, I mean, if any of them, all of like the first one was the easiest, obviously, by far. It was just a catch and shoot 3 and he had nobody around him. But still, given the moment, if that was the only shot he hit, we would be looking at it and be like, oh my God, what an amazing shot from Towns. What a big shot in that moment. Even though it was like a fairly easy shot, they needed it. They were down by 4. Needed it. And then the other 2 shots. I mean, the fadeaway on the baseline, that he put that thing up and I was like, if this motherfucker hits this shit, as it was in the air, I'm going, if this motherfucker hits this shot, no way. And that's the moment where the fan in you is like, it's like, this can't go in, right? I want to see it. I want to see it not go in, right? I want to just see it. So I don't have, let me just see it. Because I know it's not going to go in, but let me just see it. Because what if it does go in? It's like you're going through all those emotions in the span of like a half a second. And then it went in. And then there was the 3 after that, which is probably arguably more ludicrous than the baseline fadeaway. It's just incredible shot making. Oh, man. Okay. Thanks, Ray. Armand Birdneye. JB's a special basketball player. Knicks in 5. Yes. Thank you, Armand. Armand, you've been a great addition to the Monroe tier. Really have had enjoyed having you at the last couple of town halls. And glad you're happy. And yes, he is special. Thank you, Armand. CKF. What's going on, CKF? With the Spider-Man decal. That's the latest drawing me and my daughter both did. I wish I had them here. I'll text my wife to bring them in. 32 points on 2 free throws. So much for being nothing but a foul baiter. Also, Pistons fans angry about the no call is irony at its finest. I completely agree. And I thought, and to his credit, because I got on Jalen for making it about him in game 2 and about the foul baiting and everything else. He didn't foul bait today. He didn't foul bait. Now, that's not to say that the refs couldn't have called more. There was contact. There was a lot of contact. He ended up on the floor on a lot of possessions, but didn't let it get him down. Didn't let it distract him. And he went out and he played his game, and he had one of the great fourth quarters in the history of the franchise. Not much more you could say. Thanks, CKF. Appreciate you. Anthony Sixto, what's going on, Anthony? I'm going to need one of Jeff's classic scenic route analogies to calm me down after that one. Cade versus JB is a rivalry I want for a decade. Hashtag Vixen5. Let me say something about Cade Cunningham. Let me say something about Cade Cunningham. He's hopefully not going to win this series. And that is not because he hasn't been great. He has been great. He hasn't been perfect. He hasn't been good as good as Jalen Brunson, but he's been really good. That dude, he's a real guy. Like, he is a real dude that we are going to. And again, I don't know that. I mean, Detroit, not exactly a place that like stars around the league are going to be clamoring to get to, in terms of like, if there's a star that's on the trade market, is Detroit going to be able to go out and get that star? They do now have access to all of their future first round picks because they conveyed their first rounder this year. On the downside, they're not going to have a first round pick this year. They have some pieces. The Jaden Ivey thing is interesting. I wonder what value Ivy has around the league. I don't know. I don't know that it's all maybe as much as you might think, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Ivy is the second guy that they need. I don't know. So again, I don't know what happens with their team, but Cade is he's going to be a force that's going to have to be reckoned with. The only other thing I will say about Cade is he is going to have to start to pull up from deep. And one of the things I said before the series is I know Cade I went and looked at all of them. He was 7 of 15 on pull-up threes in the regular season against the Knicks. And one of those was the heave, so it was even better than that. I don't think he's pulled up from deep. If he's pulled up from deep, like twice in the last 2 games, I don't even think it's been that many. Maybe once. He needs to get. I think he does need to have that in his bag. Otherwise, I just think it's going to be a little like for like if you're going to try to win a championship and you're going to have the ball in your hands as much as he's going to have the ball in your hands. I think he's going to need to get that part of his game down at some point. But again, he's still young, so it's okay. Thanks, Anthony. Hush Zoo. Shout out to Mikal, by the way. 2 big shots, great defense. Yeah, we've sung Mikal's praises. He deserves every bit of our love. He was there when they needed him in this game. And that means all the minutes he played on defense. And by the way, I think Mikal Bridges, if I had to guess, is leading the playoffs in minutes per game. No, not quite. Oh, he's actually low. He had that 1 low minute game. He's actually pretty low. He's actually 27th. He's actually only averaging 37 minutes per game. OG Anunoby is leading the Knicks with 42. Thanks, Hush. CKF with another one. Pistons may have dogs, but we got a cat. Hashtag go New York go. That had some big I have an army we have a Hulk energy to it. Yeah, Cat was definitely channeled as an inner Incredible Hulk in the last couple minutes of that game. Thanks, CKF. Andrew Madowski, what's going on, Andrew? Thank you for the contribution. Get Cats to please stop, drop a suggestion into Bickerstaff's box. Not permitted to abbreviate his first name. Oh, is it? I don't know the Cats has that sort of power, but I'll ask him. Next round, it'll be Brown and unnamed arena 2. Okay. I will do my best. Thank you, Andrew. Kanye and Pepper. I guess I'm supposed to feel bad about the missed call. Nope. Cat gets fouled on every play. Let's finish this on Tuesday. Thanks, Macri. Thank you, Kanye, and I appreciate that. No, man. Listen. Sometimes shit goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Like, when it's playoff time, you win or you lose. You know, that's the reality of the situation. When it's playoff time, you win or you lose. And there have been calls that have gone against the Knicks over the years. They've been really unfortunate. I don't think about a single one of them. I think about the wins and the losses. You know, because at the end of the day, if it's a call, that means the game was close enough to go either way. And Pistons had their chances today. They did not take advantage. Thanks, Kanye. Kevin. Kev Words, our one of our associate producers. T-Squared was fun. I was yelling at people. Some looked scared. I don't care. Knicks in 5. Kevin, thank you, man. It's super generous of you. I appreciate that. Oh man, this game, this post game is really a feel good post game. Thank you for contributing to it, man, and thank you so much for just being an incredible member of this team. We really do have the best team here at Knicks Film School. I'm so lucky to be able to do so many of these post games, but what a crew we have. It's just the absolute best. Thanks, Kev. Speaking of our crew, Kevin Denishevsky, an extended crew member here at Knicks Film School. I hope JB never retires. Best Knick of the 21st century, and it's not close. Ooh, those fighting words there, Kev. Cat is so freaking talented. Playoff experience of Mikal Hart is showing. Brunson's gotten a lot of love. Cat's gotten a lot of love. Mikal Bridges has gotten a lot of love. I am going to use this moment to shout out Josh Hart. Again, I'll read the stat line. In 42 minutes, 4-9 from the field, 3 of 5 from deep. Did miss 3 free throws. That pissed me off, especially the 0 for 2. And one in the fourth quarter that could have been big. But 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1, 2, 3, 4 steals for Josh Hart in this game, and 2 turnovers. His activity on defense all season long, again, we gave him shit for his defense, and it was justified because he wasn't that good. And he was a big part. I don't say big part. He was a contributor to the Knicks' defensive issues throughout the season. The whole like three good defensive wings thing, it was not really the case in actuality because Hart was not great defensively. Let me tell you, he's been great defensively in the series, including making the defensive play of the game. And it's just so nice to know that you have a guy out there, and I think Mikal Bridges as well. And like honestly, you could say Cat as well. Not get rattled. Not get rattled because they've been in these situations before. And there was no sign from the Knicks that they ever got rattled in the fourth quarter of that game, even though they had every right to. Thanks, Kev. Whoa! Stan Brad 13. Thank you, Stan Brad 13. Didn't you have another recent one that was like up there? Man, thank you for the generosity here, really. I repeat, that's our captain. Again, I knew we had it once Bickerstaff used another early challenge of off of emotion. They missed the last call, but Cade had a chance, so no complaints about the refs. Tuesday, we up. Mikal with 2 huge threes. Let's go, Knicks. JB Bickerstaff, in part because he's an emotional guy, helped turn around a franchise this year. Monty Williams knew himself and knew that he probably had no business coaching at the moment where Detroit, because, and again, the reporting is that he turned them down initially, and then the owner went back to him and was like, here, take all the money. And he's like, well, I can't turn this down. That's not really on him, but this was a franchise adrift, and they needed leadership, and JB Bickerstaff gave them that. And he's going to finish top 3 in Coach of the Year. My guess is he probably winds up finishing 3rd. But there, I think, is a limitation to how far a team with Bickerstaff as the coach can go. And I think this is now the second series where you see some of those flaws. You know, and it's the same for Tibbs. Tibbs, all the things that we love about Tibbs, or I love about Tibbs, I shouldn't say we, because some people don't love anything about Tibbs. All the things that I love about Tibbs, you could flip them right around on their head and say, these are the things that are wrong with him. That's pretty much every coach. Every coach is going to have qualities where there are times where the same quality could look like a positive, and then that exact same quality is going to look like a negative. So I think the fact that he is coaching off of emotion on these challenges is because clearly, I mean, that one was so egregious, and we called it in the moment. The Knicks beat writers were tweeting it out. Like, man, you can't challenge there. You know, would it made a difference? I mean, it was a 1-point game. It was a 1-point game. Might have made a difference, and he has to own that. And Pistons fans have to live with that. If I was a Piston fan, and again, this is probably just because of of the things that I care about the most, I would be more livid about, maybe not more livid, but having a coach who I don't trust to properly deploy challenges is probably the thing that would stay with me more than the missed call. You know, but that's me. Thanks, Stan Bratt. Appreciate again the incredible generosity there. Mark Frangos, what's going on, Mark? I regret wanting 90s basketball back. Stars are going to get injured like Schroeder did to JB. Final shot wasn't a foul. Goonies and Knicks never say die. Yeah. I don't know. It's been interesting. I don't know that I love this style of play. I don't know that I hate this style of play. It is what it is. You know, to quote the coach of the Knicks, the game tells you what to do. And the game right now is this is what it requires of the Knicks. I agree with you that this is how stars get injured. And I mean, we're all talking about Knicks in 5. I hope Jalen Brunson can go in game 5. Because if Jalen Brunson can't go in game 5, well, then all of a sudden that Knicks in 5 might not be looking as great. I mean, he went out there and he gave it everything he had here in the fourth quarter. Does that mean he's going to be able to how is he going to be on tomorrow morning? How's it going to be on Tuesday morning? We don't know the answer. Look, you're up 3-1. You've given yourself a nice cushion here. It'd be great if you could take care of it in 5 games. Leave it at that. Thanks, Mark. Jack McMick. What's going on, Jack? Great game on defense for Mikal and OG when they didn't have it on offense. The key to maximizing Cat, Brunson hero game, absolutely blown away by the captain. So key to maximizing Cat is, I think, I'm not sure what you're implying that it's the key to maximizing Cat is. I think you're implying that it's when that OG and Mikal need to be great on defense to maximize Cat. I think I would agree with that. Towns also needs to play a role in avoiding his own demise on the defensive end. And I think I have come away from this series through 4 games more impressed by Towns' defense than I am with pretty much anything else that the Knicks have going on at either end of the floor. That may seem crazy, but based on like what I was most worried about coming into the game, I think Towns' defense is the thing that, like, for me, might be the thing that I'm like happiest about. Thanks, Jack. And I say that, by the way, it has not been perfect, but I was really worried about it coming in. So, and they've done okay. Thank you, Jack. Marcos, no. What's going on, Marcos? Great win, guys. I know Mikal missed those threes, but can you agree with me? He played good defense, and those final threes counted that he made. Yeah, no, it's a listen. I haven't thought about how I'm going to do stars of the game yet. Brunson's the only guaranteed recipient. I think I'm going to have a tough time with the other four starters. I would be surprised if OG wound up getting a star. I have been accused at times of being a little bit too favorable to Josh Hart. I just thought he was really good. That said, I have a funny feeling because of the necessity of the shot making and because Mikal Bridges played the level of defense that he played for the entire time he was out there, which was, again, 44 freaking minutes. I think Mikal's going to end up getting one of the stars. Thanks, Marcos. Jay Vertical. What's going on, Jay Vertical? Shout out to Tibbs for subbing JB and Cat for offense defense on 2 occasions late. Switched everything in 2 crucial stops. Cat's defense has been a revelation. Never seen him have this attention to detail. Yeah, just talked about that. Good luck. GLBOS? GLBOS. I don't know if that is good luck Boston. Good luck Boston, like good luck beating us in the next round. Well, no, listen. One step at a time. As for Tibbs, I mean, that's like pretty basic stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, good job by Tibbs, but like I would hope that he's doing that stuff. I mean, I don't know where the notion came from that Tibbs is like not a guy who knows how to make basic substitution patterns at the end of games or whatever. But yeah, thanks, Jay Vertical. Aunt Rich, what's going on, Aunt? How you doing? Thompson said, I don't worry about Jalen. All he does is sell fouls. Beasley said, we don't worry about Towns. The national media said Cade was the best player in the series. Yeah, a lot of people said a lot of shit, didn't they? I mean, the level of disrespect, because here's the thing, the Knicks, nobody on the Knicks side ever said anything remotely disrespectful about the Pistons that I can remember. Here's another one from Ant. The Knicks survived cold shooting on some of the best rim and transition defense I've seen in a long time. I have to give it to Detroit. They brought the ruckus tonight. Yeah, they did. They brought the ruckus tonight. I think, and that actually builds off of what I was about to say, because I think them being chirpy and them saying all the shit that they said is because they knew that they were going to be able to come in this series, and they knew how they were going to play. They knew they were going to play physical. They knew they were going to challenge the Knicks. They knew how they were going to challenge the Knicks. The mistake that they made, though, was like, why are you going to talk about it? Like, what does that get you? Like, go out and do it. If you go out and you do it, and then you don't talk about it, and then after you go out and do it, even after the post game, you go out there and be like, yeah, man, Knicks played a great game. We made a few extra plays today. We're blah, yada, yada, yada. Like, be humble. I know that's like old man on the lawn of me, but if I personally was a Pistons, like if I'm a Pistons fan and I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, we're down 3-1. I'm pissed about this call. Maybe it should be 2-2, maybe not. We've had chances to win all 4 games, yada, yada, yada. Like, is there any part of me that's taking any solace whatsoever in how much smack the Pistons have talked? You're down 3-1. Like, what? I don't. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm old. I'm not, I'm not with it, as they say. But I mean, if my team was down 3-1, I wouldn't take solace in any of that shit. Thanks, Ant. Jack McMick with another one. Thank you, Jack. Poetic the Pistons chirped about Brunson for foul baiting and then foul baited for the win, and they didn't get the call. The Knicks got beat up the whole game. Don't want to hear about it on a foul call. Knicks in 5. Yeah, again, I mean, he airballed it too. That's the thing. I didn't think it was a natural shooting motion. Hart, I will say, Hart has to know better, and maybe that's the reason I don't give him one of the 3 stars. He has to know better. But that said, go get the drawings. Yeah, very very fair. Oh no, I don't need mine. You don't have to get yeah. Thanks, Jack. All right, we're gonna take a all right, let's read take a quick break so my daughter could show. All right, so we have our latest little art project here. We're gonna make this quick because I got a lot of super chats to go. So we did how to draw Spider-Man in the Scarlet Spider suit, I think is what it is. So here's what we came up with. So we got mine on my left and my daughter's Scarlet's on my right. I hope people could see it. Yeah, there we go. Well, I'll just show yours. Nobody needs to see mine. I'd say that's pretty freaking good. Very proud of you. Did you have fun at the park?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Good.
Winnie was there surprisingly too.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. All right. Well, I still got a lot of post-game super chats to go.
Tell them who Winnie is.
Tell them what?
Tell them who Winnie is so they're not confused.
I think people would assume that Winnie is your friend. Okay, whatever. I'm going to be hearing that a lot for the next decade. Yeah. Anyway. Mikey Havoc. What's going on, Mikey? Shout out to Jeff for killing it on Fridays, and he's in here hyping me the F up in this post game. Yeah, Jeff J is awesome. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it, and shout out to Jeff. OG team, Jalen Brunson, his first team, all NBA playoff riser. Yes. I don't know what the qualifications are, but sure. Yes, I would agree. Thank you, OG team. Dom Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? My family and friends got to meet my Mr. Hyde at the end of the game. Oh my God, you were around people for this? Dom, I know how you get because I've seen video of it. I said I wouldn't get mad if they dropped game 4, but I didn't say I wouldn't lose my mind if they won. Yeah, no, I was my daughter told me to be quiet. I mean, it's who you are. Don't be ashamed of it. I wouldn't be ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Down with another one. I love how Cat is having his first defining Knicks moment in his first playoff series. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because he's going to make an All-NBA team. He might make All-NBA second team. So, like, his season before this point has been an unabashed success. What you would have hated would have been if you got to the playoffs after what was a really good season, but one that people definitely had some complaints about and some qualms with, and Cat didn't. He just like came up small, and you can't say that now. But if he doesn't have that stretch in the fourth quarter, you absolutely would have said that. You would. I mean, this loss, I said it, would have been as much on Cat as anyone else, and now he didn't have to deal with that because he came up big when it mattered most. And one more here from Dom. Thank you again, Dom, as always. Truly, thank you, Dom. You're too much, man. This is the third year in a row that the Knicks gave us a classic ABC Sunday matinee performance for Game 4. Outside of the third, loved every minute. Time to finish it on Tuesday. You know what? I cannot say that I loved every minute of this. I knew they should have been up more in the first half. I was bothered by the fact that they should have been up more in the first half. And then there was that 18-minute stretch. So I actually don't know that I loved any minute of this. I was trying to appreciate it for what it was. I loved this when the final buzzer rang. That's when I loved it. I loved it when it read when the clock ran all zeros. But yeah, man. Sunday matinee performances. They've given us some good ones. They've look, 3 years in a row. This team's given us a lot in the postseason. They really have. You know, they showed today that DNA, it's not all gone from the last couple of years, and not from last year especially. Some of that stuff is still there. Thank you, Dom. Appreciate you. Browning Knicks, what's going on, Browning? Tibbs has grown on me. Oh my goodness. We might need to get you tested for some kind of infectious disease. I didn't think Tibbs was still growing on anybody. He's like, I don't know what he is. It's like a a rose bush in the middle of the winter. I don't know if that analogy makes any sense. In any case, he reminds me of that school teacher you hate in September that you appreciate by June. Back-to-back round playoff wins or road playoff wins. Let's get one more. I mean, nobody wants to sit. Nobody wants me to sit here and sing Tibbs praises because I've done it far too much over the last 5 seasons, and I think everybody would be fine if I never said anything nice about the man ever again. What I will say is that I think he's a really good coach, and I think this has been a challenging year for him. I don't think it has been his best year. I think this has been a learning experience probably for Tibbs. You know, if you could still learn when you're in your 60s, because this has not been a typical Tibbs team. And we know this has not been a typical Tibbs team, but I think he has still done what he has needed to do to give them chances to be successful. And I think that's showing now. And God knows they're prepared. They're still the most prepared team in the league, night in and night out. So, yeah. Thanks, Brownie Knicks. Jonathan Harpula. What's going on, Jonathan? When does Mitch consider underhanded free throws? I think the nerves probably got to him a little bit today. That's my guess. He was short on everyone. He's actually shot free throws well this year. So, I don't know. I'm not going to kill him too much. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate you. Phrase Vader. What's going on, Phrase? This was a true New York Grits win. Just a few short years ago, we lose this game. Long live Captain. Long live Cap. Playoff Josh has arrived. Burn all cat slander. Hashtag let's fucking go Knicks. I mean, they lose this game earlier this year. Don't they? Like, does anybody think this team wins this game earlier this year? I don't know if they won this game, if they would have won this game 3 weeks ago. All that matters is they won it today. You know what that is? Growth. Hope I pulled that off. Okay. On that note, perfect time to get in a quick word from our friends at, yes, it's not the most famous 4 words in niche basketball podcasting, but it's close. Shout out to Cornbread. Has life been a little crazy lately? I don't know. Are you a Knicks fan with eyes and a television set? The one thing that helps me unwind, oh my Lord, am I going to need some of this after today? Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies. They are there when you need them to relieve aches and discomfort. They are formulated to work with your body and not against it. And they have become an absolutely massive part of my wellness routine. If you've tried everything under the sun for your own personal peace of mind, I don't even know what else could you try after a game like this? Like taking a long walk? You think that's going to do it to you? To calm you down and give you mental wellness after a game like this? No. No, if you've tried everything for peace of mind, it sounds like you may need to try Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies that are formulated to relieve discomfort, sleeplessness, and stress. How you doing? And don't forget, they're all the products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. Right now, Knicks Film School listeners could save 30% off their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. Again, that is cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS. Jose Muniz. Bridges hit a couple of big threes. Yeah, man. I said it. I wrote it last week. I went in on him and I said, I hope he makes me eat these words. He has made me choke on them. Because I held this season against him. Because I was in my feelings a little bit. The thing I always get mad at people for doing? Oh, well, guess what? I did it. And he has come back and he responded with 2 really massive games on the road when his team needed him in the way. That's the key part. He responded when his team needed him in the way that his team needed him. That's the key. They needed his defense. And today, they needed his big shots down the stretch. Thanks, Jose. Sam Garcia, what's going on, Sam? Pistons blew an 11-point fourth quarter lead with 8.5 minutes to go. Yes. Blaming the ref for a loss like that is lame, babyish, and soft as hell. Well, look, they haven't been here before. So they don't know how this goes. They have not been through the trials and tribulations of playoffs because that team has defined losing in the NBA for the better part of a decade and a half. So I'm not going to kill them for whining like babies because they don't know any better than to whine like babies. Let's hope that maybe if they make it back to the playoffs next year or make it back a few times, that they will know how to respond a little bit better. Thank you, Sam. Charles Hochbaum, 60-year Knicks fan, dreaming for a point guard since Clyde. Well, if you're a 60-year Knicks fan, that would mean that you have been a fan since approximately the 1963-64 season. No, sorry. Wait. Yeah, 63-64 season. Or 64-65 season. That year, they won 31 games. They went 31-49. They fired Eddie Donovan, who was the architect of a version of the Knicks, and they hired former player Harry Gallatin as their coach. That didn't go so well. That was Willis Reed's. Was that Willis Reed's rookie year, 64-65, or was it his second year? It was his rookie year, so you did get to see a rookie of the year that year. So that's kind of cool. Other than that, things didn't go so hot. Next year, you went 30-50. Then things started to turn around. You made the playoffs, 36-45, and then things got really fun after that. So, listen, Charles, you've more than earned it, man. You've more than earned it, and you deserve to see a guy like Jalen Brunson lead this team. Next up, Jason with another one. Cats defense has been much better than in the regular season. Night and day. Night and day. There were games where he was embarrassing on defense. Where I don't think it was too. It's too strong to say that he lost them games on defense. I don't think that's too strong to say at all. And yet, you look at the numbers, and the numbers say that the defensive issues, well, they weren't his fault. But to your point, Jason, yes, it's been much better. It's been much better. Absolutely. Oh my God. An unconscionable turnover late in this Lakers-Wolves game. Okay. Thanks, Jason. We got a couple now from Kevin Danishevsky. You can't kvetch, I hope I got that right, about unethical foul baiting all series and then cry when your player does it. Also, Where does this rank in the Tibbs playoff wins? Third for me. I will do the ranking in a second. Let me get to your next comment first. Wanted Milwaukee for easy matchup, but happy Detroit pushed off. Well, it's not over yet. You still got to beat Detroit. Don't be thankful just yet. But I agree with you because I said the same thing earlier. I think if they go on to win this series, we'll wind up looking at it as a positive. Okay. Ranking the Tibbs playoff wins. Man, I think it's the best one of this series. I think it's better than any win in the Miami series. I have an odd soft spot for game 1 against the Cavs. I don't know. It's close with that one. I mean, entirely different games, very different games. But I have a soft spot for that game. So it's up there for me there. Pacers, I mean, man, I loved game 5 against the Pacers. It was a blowout, but it was a blowout. So I don't know how you compare the two. They just came out with such ferocity. And then the Philly series, my God. The tough part for me is the Philly series might contain 3 of my top 5. So I don't know. It's in my top 5. I'll give you that. I would probably off the top of my head go 3, number 3 or 4, but we'll see. Hold on. My daughter needs something. What's up? No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you asking though. Okay. Thanks, Kev. Sean with a W. Cat 4+3s. You knew it, baby. You had it all along. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here sweating out my freaking Wolves or my Lakers money line pick when I could have cashed out for a nice number. I could have got a lot of fan cash for my pick earlier tonight. And I did not do so. And I am maybe regretting it right now. But we'll find out what happens in a bit. Thanks, Sean. Alex, I never doubted for a second. Let's freaking go Knicks. No, none of us did. We never doubted it. Thanks, Alex. Gio at 2 refs. Pizza. That's good. That's good. That's good. I like that. Thank you, Gio. At 2, Brutus. Dom Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? Again, Dom, you are a madman, and now your whole family knows it. There you go. If the Knicks win on Tuesday, I hope the whole team collectively shimmies on the court like the end of a Broadway show. Time to get it done now and make Knicks in 5 click. Start doing laps. I don't think they will do that if they win. I think they will win with class. If they win. That's baked into this team's DNA. It's part of what I like about them. It's part of what I respect about them. And I'm sure if they win, they'll say a lot of kind things about the Pistons. You know. Thanks, Dom. Another one coming up from Dom here, because Dom is a wild man. Thank you, Dom. Again, I'm going to get in trouble with your family. If the Knicks finish in 5, then it's very possible they might start becoming the team I was searching for and got yelled at in January, February for not being excited enough about. Excitement might be coming soon. No, man, you were right to have your view of this team that you did. You were. Because you were on it early, but they were disappointing. They were disappointing. And they didn't do enough they didn't make enough plays. Oh, that hurts. What an unconscionable loss. Sorry, the Lakers just lost to Minnesota. Damn it. I would have liked that. What do you like to come through? No, Dom, you were fine because you felt what you felt and you didn't want to sugarcoat it. And then eventually, you know what? Everybody else in Knicks land eventually came around to where you were. They did. And so I think this team, you looked at this team and you said, you know what? They have to earn it with me. And guess what? They're slowly starting to earn it. They're slowly starting to earn it. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you. Oh, we got a couple from Haitian coming up. Haitian Ferg, my man. Cunningham, Birmingham, Smoking Ham, Knicks in 5. Another one. I forgot to go all caps. That being said, let's go Knicks. No, I got it. That's fantastic, man. Thank you. Thank you, Haitian. Dom, let's go Knicks. Everybody's killing it today. All the regulars are showing up. We appreciate all of you. I promise. Sure Soul Evans. What's going on, Sure Soul Evans? First timer. Hey, welcome aboard. We love having you. Frustrated with the NBA for a minute. The players' lack of want and love for the game isn't there like before. This is why we love the game. What a win. It's a different sport. It's changed over the years. I think as organizations have kind of, I don't know, rallied around tanking, it's not helping. Players move around so much. It's so hard to build locker rooms that last and culture that could last year after year. It's like, how many team cultures do really exist in the NBA now? Are there any? Like, I know the Heat put it all over their floor in their jersey. Do the Heat really have a culture? I don't know. Do the Knicks? Do the Spurs? Do the Thunder? Or is it only is that all about SGA? It's like, show me who your best player is. To a lesser extent, show me who your coach is. To some extent, show me like your owner and your GM and like the unity between up and down the organization, all that. Like, it's a different league. It's a changing league, but that's professional sports for you. The playoffs, though, this is why the playoffs are great, because like all the bullshit goes aside and you get these moments and you get these games that just remind you why you're a fan. And the Knicks did that today. So good job by them. And good job by the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're coming out with that win. Kento Cato with another one. Funny seeing Pistons fans moving the goalposts now. Side note, thank you for the post game as usual. I love having a community like this after a win like that. Well, that's why we do what we do. That's why, so many years ago I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start our next podcast, because I think there's a space for the sort of podcast that I think I'd like to listen to after games. And now here we are. Thank you, Kento. Appreciate you. Screw the Pistons. Andrew with another one. Andrew Badowski. Only one JB, and that's him. Capital H, capital I, capital M. Only one Garden. That's here. Oh, yeah. No. Come on. Little Caesars Arena. I mean, good job by them. They packed the place. They were loud. Wonderful. You ain't got a single win to show for it. Sorry. Thanks, Andrew. Armin. Josh Hart got fouled on the rebound on the Cade miss, so Detroit could go shit in hat. Man, and Hart got fouled on. It was a foul that wasn't called in game 2. That was on the last 2 minutes report. They said he should have gotten fouled when his dunk that it should have put the Knicks up by 1. So like there's been missed calls in the series. Like this isn't the first missed call. obviously. Thanks, Armin. Red Sarachak. Hey, man, what's going on, bud? Been a minute, J-Mac. Yeah, it has. Pardon my French, but this team gives me diarrhea. Yeah, you know. Hey, Tobias, different team, same results. Can't be fun to always be at Wendy's. Look, Tobias, what did Tobias do today? I don't even know what Tobias had. I mean, I think Tobias had a good game. He was good on defense. I don't think he shot great. 6 of 15 for 18 points. That's a good game. It's a good game. He had a block and a steal. He had 8 rebounds. 5 fouls. -9. How about, by the way, Jalen Duren? I don't know that this is reflective of how he played. Jalen Duren was a -17 in the 38 minutes that he played, which means the Pistons outscored the Knicks by 16 points in the 10 minutes that Jalen Duren sat, which is certainly interesting. Yeah. I don't know what to make of that. Thanks, Red. Oh, man, we have 4 coming up here from Andrew Badowski. Okay, let me do rapid fire. Like that Bank Arena up north, can we stick to simply Bickerstaff? He's not worthy of the JB name. We can do that. I will call him Bickerstaff the Younger from now on. Next up. If only their table guy could have suited up again. Man, that nonsense was ridiculous. That's why, ultimately, that's the biggest reason I'm not going to feel bad about the no foul call, because that fuck, hey, karma's a bitch. And it's undefeated. Next one from Andrew. First time, long time that Detroit won at home pizza. Andrew, you're on one tonight. I want to know if Andrew's drunk or taking some controlled substance. And finally from Andrew, odds incredibly long, but the odds nonetheless. Chances Dante pulls an Andre 3000 Flint Tropics in the finals against us with a HT home team jersey swap. Man, if the Knicks and Timberwolves play in the freaking finals, I'll just say that I would be in favor of any and all chicanery that went on during that series. Yeah, Mark, I'm with you. I'd be a pig in shit. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate all the contributions tonight. Red with another one. My God. I was supposed to read this. Wendy's nuts in your face. Let's shut down 7th Avenue. I have nothing to say about that. Thank you, Red. It's getting to the 3-hour mark here, clearly. Rich McLeod, rest in PP to Piston. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Rest in PP to Pistons fans' hopes and dreams. Rest in pizza. All this is doing is making me hungry. Do you know what I would do for a freaking Little Caesars or a Domino's or like a Pizza Hut or a Papa John's or some shitty pizza? Sometimes you just want crap. And right now, I could go for some kind of crap because I had avocado toast this morning and then I had a bowl of turkey chili, a small bowl of turkey chili. That's all I've eaten today. So I'm going to have to eat something here for dinner at some point. But yes, Rich, agreed. Next up, Kevin Dadashevsky with another one. Where's Parrish? Quiet in the Duggar household. Listen, I'm thankful Parrish is a ardent Knicks Film School watcher and super chatter and commenter. This season, Kev, there's been a lot of people that have chirped about a lot of things. I've chirped about a lot of shit. You've chirped about a lot of shit. We've all chirped about a lot of shit. It has been a team that has divided a fan base more than normal, and certainly more than normal based on how many wins they ended up coming about. Because there was a lot of opinions about blame, and I mean, there's just a lot of opinions about blame. We could just stop it there. So, for me right now, I hope, my biggest hope about this game and maybe about this series, again, got to finish it off, but my biggest hope about this game is that this can maybe start to unify things a little bit, because I know for me, and obviously I'm in a bit of a different chair because of what I do, the most frustrating part for me has been the divisiveness and the how the disparity of opinions, and it's been rare that, and again, it's like I say that and I'm like, man, I've had my people that I haven't cared for this year, that I put more blame on than they probably deserve. So who the hell am I to talk? Again, but I include myself, as I always do with this stuff. So I hope this win maybe could start to bring things together. That's what I hope. Thanks, Kev. Kev with another one. Game 2 of Hawks series deserves an honorable mention. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, look, they haven't had many like ho-hum wins or wins that aren't memorable. Like, look at game 1 of the Pacers series last year. Look at game 2 of the Pacers series last year. Look at how about game 3, the first Knick against the Cavs, the first Knick home playoff game in a decade. Do you remember the energy around that game? Do you remember how the Cavs started off that game where they couldn't? And that place was like insane. And sorry, it was the first full one because the Hawks, there were fans in for the Hawks, but like there was something about that game 3 against the Cavs that were it was just something different about that moment. But anyway, lots of big wins. Thanks, Kev. Alex Bickerstaff just challenged the call in game 5. Of course he did. And then Andrew with another one. Haha, they say Detroit pizza sucks. Pizza. I mean, Little Caesars is like not Detroit pizza. Detroit pizza is actually good. If you like, it's a different take on Sicilian. Again, Buddy's Pizza is the one I know, but there's a lot of good places now in New York that make good Detroit pizza. Ace, I think it's called Ace. Place in Williamsburg is good. There's a place actually here in Cobble Hill. It's called Knicks that makes a pretty good Detroit pie. I like Detroit pizza. I like it better than Chicago pizza. I'll tell you that. But it ain't New York pizza. It ain't New York pizza. Okay. And all right. Mark just let me know this, and Alex is making us aware of it with the super chat. Dick Barnett, one of the great Knicks in history, has sadly passed away. Dick Barnett, I'm just going to read this message from the Knicks. Dick Barnett, I believe, was 89 years old. We are terribly saddened to hear about the passing of Knicks legend Dr. Richard Barnett. Throughout his illustrious career, Dick Barnett embodied everything it meant to be a New York Knick, both on and off the court. He left a positive impact on everyone he encountered, and this organization is incredibly fortunate to have him be such an integral part of its history. His jersey will forever hang in the rafters at Madison Square Garden, and his play throughout his career will forever be a part of Knicks fans' memories. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, and teammates in this difficult time. I will just say I was lucky enough to attend a screening maybe 6-7 years ago of SNY made a film. I forget the name of the film, but it was about 1969 and the Jets and the Mets and the Knicks all winning in the same year and how the odds of that were like astronomical. And after the documentary, they held a question and answer, and the representative there from the with players from those teams, and the representative there from the Knicks was Dr. Dick Barnett. And I remember just being taken aback by this living legend and how poignant he was about when he was talking about this team and what it meant to be a part of it and how they attained success. And I thought about that over the last year when Dick Barnett was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame, and was introduced by, of course, our good friend here at the pod, Bill Bradley. He's an NBA Hall of Famer. He's an absolute all-timer. If you're looking at like, well, what was his impact on those Knicks championship teams? He had a really interesting career. He was like out of the league entirely after his second season. He then joined up with the Lakers. The Knicks got him from LA his first year. It's funny, I mentioned the mid-60s. I was talking about the mid-60s earlier before. Those teams were not very good. And before they got good, Dick Barnett was actually a big scoring force. He actually averaged 23 points per game on the 65-66 team and made an all-star team on the 67-68 team. So people mention the all-stars of those teams, and they talk about, obviously, Clyde and Willis Reed and Dave DeBusschere and Earl Pearl Monroe. And, they mentioned, Jerry Lucas is a top 75 all-time player. And Bill Bradley made an all-star team. People forget that Dick Barnett was one of those guys. He was traded to the Knicks for Bob Boozer. I would say that trade worked out, pretty well for New York. But, Dick Barnett is a part of the fabric of this franchise's history. And he played a massive role on the 1960, the first championship team. He was the starter on that team. And then obviously as his career went on, he was not as big on the second championship team, but that doesn't matter. He was just such an instrumental part of who they were, the ethos of that team, the selflessness of that team, the always putting your teammates first thing that they believed in, defense. And it was so great to see him at the Garden and around the Garden for as long as I could remember. And he's been a fixture at Madison Square Garden for years and years and years. And I don't, that team is obviously getting up there in years. We lost Willis. Now we've lost Dick, and just it makes you appreciate the time that you have with these guys. It's a special part of Knicks history, and it's a special part of basketball history, those teams. So rest in peace, Dr. Barnett, and prayers and thoughts out to his family and everybody who knew him. All right, so we end on a bit of a somber note, but it's nice that the Knicks got a win on the day that Dr. Barnett leaves us for certainly greener pastures and that big basketball court up in the sky. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. If you dig what we do here, please subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, subscribe there. Give us a 5-star rating. Write a nice review so other Knicks fans can also join in and help us continue to grow and do our thing here. I will be on with Jeremy tomorrow night, so look forward to that. I think we're going live, so if you're around, you can watch us go. And then I'll be back on Tuesday night for Game 5, hopefully a wrap-up game. And that's all I got. Rest in peace, Dr. Barnett. Great win. See you later.